OB, news-free Dixie for the 21st century. See how it works? Somewhere. Can you dig it?
And so just want you to know. Man, I looked at that smile on your face just now. And the first time I ever wished I was a photographer to take that picture and let the world see that honesty and that integrity. And know some of the things I know, how you drive all over the country to chase us down. Chase us down. Okay? We move so fast. I don't know if you're married, I don't know if you're a family, I don't know if you're white. Okay? But when we get on here, we bosom friends. Anytime I see you, I stop whatever I'm doing. Hey, my man, how are you? Hey, hey, man, what, that's, I owe that to you. It's an obligation that you have. How old are you?
Oh, 36.
So you don't have the right to do what 36 people do. You don't have the right to go to the dance or go to the party. You don't have a right to take that trip to Europe when I might need that plane fare to fly somebody else to feed my people that love me. Mm-hmm. You feed them. Oh, it's one thing being hungry from food. Right. There's another thing being hungry for information.
That's right.
And that's you the feeder. You got to be the farmer. You got to grow the crop. Huh? You got to till the grain. And at nighttime, when you hear something that sounds like water, you got to go and see if the crop's going to be flooded. That's your job, man.
Guess who's back? Back again. Brother Run. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's black? Guess who's back? Guess who's black? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? It's Brother Ron, and this is We All Be News-Free Dixie for the 21st century. I feel so much better now. I feel rejuvenated. I feel refreshed. Actually, I've been dragging, man. Y'all don't understand. The movement doesn't pay like that. I'm in Memphis. The crime does pay in Memphis. The movement does not pay. Not really. But this is your brother Ron, once again. Very necessary to be doing in this very necessary times. We are living in the zeitgeist, the spirit of the times. And I felt compelled. It's so much stuff going on, folks. A lot of times I just pass on speaking on any and everything. It's like everybody's talking, saying something. It's like Charlie Brown teacher. Wah, 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 wah. But I felt very compelled to speak on this because I think it needs to be said. It needs to be said because we need a thorough re-understanding over and understanding of what ops really are. COINTELTAL, I'm a telltale what that really is about. And this phenomenon, y'all talking about agents and all that crap, and the agent stuff. We're going to talk about that tonight. It needs to be addressed. This got to stop. And it's not going to stop, but I know somebody out there is going to feel me. Can you feel me? Feel me? You going to feel me? Somebody out here going to get the message. I came up with this thing called the mailman theory for a reason. I talked about the mailman theory several years ago. I talk about you got to treat these so-called black saviors like the mailman or the mail woman or the male person or the male pronoun, whatever you want to use. The mailman could be a crackhead, can be that's a degenerate. But as long as they do their job as the male person, long as they deliver your mail that is addressed to you, to your mailbox, you should not even be concerned about what your mailman do after hours, off the clock. Hell, even after they leave your destination, once they leave the mail in the mailbox for you, your concern about what they do on the rest of the route or routes should not be your concern. That's none of your business. Your business is in that mailbox. It's like It's not about the messenger. It's about the message. Stop making about these personalities. I know we love celebrity. We worship at the altar of celebrity. But these past 2 years should be a wake-up call. You know, I can't take black folks seriously about reparations right now. You know why? You got more black people probably that want the Dallas Cowboys to win this season's Super Bowl than they want reparations for themselves and their peoples. You probably got more black Dallas Cowboy fans that would rather win the Super Bowl or they win. We won, Jerry. We won, boss. Instead of getting that check that does not bounce. You understand? More bounce to the ounce. That doesn't bounce, though. All right? Our priorities are screwed as a majority, as a collective. Now, you got individual exceptions, all right? But some stuff need to be addressed. I just can't sit back in the cut like that. And this does not bring me joy to do this. It really doesn't. But it needs to be addressed because the agent thing is getting out of hand. It's getting ridiculous. I'm gonna tell you how I treat y'all. You know, people accuse me of being an agent, right? You know, I'm transparent. I'm private, but I'm also transparent. I also understand and understand that privacy does not exist in a world like this anymore. Privacy is obsolete. It's extinct like the dodo bird, in a world like this. The way I deal with people, I trust people to be people. That trust y'all talk about that BS about, man, I don't know if I can trust you. If you could go out and still eat at the post, whatever we happened these past 2 years, if you are willing to trust strangers to deliver your food without sneezing or spitting or eating your food, but yet you can't trust a person you have known all your life, what did that word trust really mean? If you say, I can't trust my cousin that you know for most of your life, but you could trust a teenager to make sure they don't poison your food that you never met, you don't know that well. You could trust strangers to fix stuff that's going into your body. But you say you can't trust a person that you've known for most of your life. What does that trust word really mean? I trust people to be people. I trust humans to human. I trust people to people, meaning that people are going to do whatever it is on the spectrum of human behavior that it shouldn't surprise you at this point that people do what they do. And how I treat people, it's interesting. Like I said, I've been a public figure for a minute. My contact information is being readily available. It's funny to me. I have people that listen to me for years. Sometimes they call me. You know, first time after all these years, holding back. I keep holding on, right? They finally call me. Sometimes it'll be a person that I talk to from time to time that's been a listener, and they have a person on the phone. And they old brother Run, I got so-and-so on the phone. He's been a fan for a long time, or she been a fan for a long time, right? I'm saying interest. They'll say, I saw you at so-and-so event. I saw you at Selma. I saw you in Baltimore. I saw you in Brooklyn. I didn't know who you were, though. You knew who I was, but you didn't approach me. So I don't know who you really are, but you tell me you so-and-so from so-and-so, right? The way I do it is that I just talk. I say whatever's on my mind. I say stuff because I know I'm being recorded. We all being recorded. So I know I don't care at this point if so-and-so is an agent. I'm just going to talk some stuff. So if it does become public, I'm never surprised. I'm like, oh, yeah, I already knew I was being recorded. Did you know so-and-so was an agent? Did you know so-and-so worked for Homeland Security? So-and-so worked for NSA. So-and-so worked for CIA. All the alphabet people. And then you know so-and-so, because people come to you. They might come to you years later, decades later, say, so-and-so was so-and-so. And I'm saying, well, I live my life in a way where I don't keep too many big secrets. I don't hide secrets. What you see, for the most part, is what you get. I talk real loud in public on purpose. I love going to grocery stores. on my cell phone, talking loud on purpose. Yeah, I'm country, but I talk loud on purpose to drop information. That's how you stay alive. Like Baba Dick Gregory would say. He said, when people tell me to keep a secret, I just tell it. You ask me why he lived so long? Because hell, he just told it. What's the point of killing me if it's already out there? If the secret's no longer a secret, what's the point of neutralizing or silencing me? What's the point of trying to silence me, excuse me, if the secret's out the bag, right? That didn't stop people from trying to get Baba Dick Gregory. They didn't stop folks from trying to get at Dick Gregory. Government agencies, people like that, they tried to get Dick Gregory several times, many times. Me and Baba Dick Gregory recording while we come with Satan because his researchers died over information. A lot of folks that have been dropped behind certain things you'll never know about. Stuff that y'all take for granted is folks that died for information to get this stuff out there to the people. And y'all think it's free. Y'all actually got the nerve. Y'all call me. I never heard of you. You talking about, well, I listened to you all this time and I never donated to you, brother. I said, I'm still here though. You know, you never donated. You benefited from my blood, sweat, and tears, my equity, the sacrifices I made, and you think it's free. It's entertainment. It's a distraction. It might be information that be turned to knowledge and wisdom for a few. But my pain is your entertainment. So what I'm saying is, y'all gotta be more sophisticated in what y'all call an agent. You understand? Social media is an agent. We all informants. Social media could be seen as an agent provocateur because a lot of y'all get triggered by things on social media. Emotional triggers. Black lives trauma porn. Triggered. We all are potential Manchurian candidates in MK Ultra studies, right? We're lab rats, we're guinea pigs. It's a big laboratory called life. So anything could set you off. So why would I need to have a person I Spy style hide when all the stuff, there's no secrecy, there's no privacy, people overshare on social media. People upload their whole life stories. People tell. So what's the point of having an agent to hide and go seek when everybody's just telling for free? Tell. Right? So social media is the big agent, so-called agent provocateur. Right? We all are informants, whether you know that or not. When you get on your phone and search information on your phone, they got cookies on your phone. I ain't talking about the cookies you can eat. Cookie monster. Ain't talking about that. You wonder why, you know, how they reading my mind. Well, they tracking your search history. There's no privacy. They got all type of spying gadgets in your everyday life. They got them in your car, your TV, your phone, everywhere. I spy, we spy together. Okay. But yeah, like I just act a fool when I talk to people on the phone. I don't know. Folks be having people call me, and there be a couple people on the phone I never met in life before, but they say they saw me in so-and-so place. And I just talk some off the wall stuff, man. And like, if it ever comes out, well, Brother Ron, you know, he said this, we recorded him, and so agency said he said. I said, well, I already knew they was recording me. That's why I could say what I want to say, because I have no fear. Because I know they already watching me. They already doing it. And I go to places, man. I was in the gym yesterday, you know, ran almost 4 miles, ran about 4 miles, 1,000+ calories burned, 30 minutes. It was a brother that walked in. Saying he was a good brother. Say, hey man, I know you are. I said, you know who I am? Well, I was running out there. What's going on? I owe you money. I sleep with your woman? No, man, you Brother Ron, brother. I listen to you every night. I said, what's your name? My name's so-and-so. I said, okay. He could be a fan, a genuine fan. I don't know. He could be working for them boys. I don't know. But I'm out here. I'm very accessible. How you gonna dox somebody that's out there already? I've been having my phone number out there like Mike Jones. You understand? For years. It's like Dick Gregory. People ask Dick Gregory, how can we get in touch with Dick Gregory? He listed in the phone book. Even his cell phone was listed in the white pages for years. Y'all didn't know that. A lot of y'all didn't know that. Because a lot of us don't seek anything. We want everything to be given to us. Then when somebody give you all the stuff, when somebody does the hard work for you all, you label that person an agent. Not all of y'all, but a lot of y'all do. Because they actually did the work to seek out the information. And you could agree or disagree on their method, on their delivery, but facts are facts all the same. You know, and also you could have a way of skewering the facts depending on context and presentation, like I said. So with that said, I felt imperative to do a show about this agent phenomenon, the so-called woke conscious black community, whatever y'all want to call it. That agent thing y'all think about, that's 50, 60 years outdated. They don't do it like that no more. They get it another way. And y'all are willing participants in y'all own demise. Self-destruction. We heading for self-destruction. So, like I said with Baba Dick Gregory, interesting story, right? You know, they put a hit out on Baba Gregory, right? Y'all are aware that the FBI put a hit on Baba Gregory, right? Because y'all always talking about he's an agent and all this stuff. Y'all think a person that try to love his people and serve his people don't supposed to live a full life? Y'all like the fact that people that try to help black people die young. Y'all like that. Y'all like it's a fetish for a lot of you. Y'all sick. Y'all tell me y'all love Malcolm X, and Malcolm X died at 39. Y'all still don't get what he was saying. Y'all still vote a certain way, think a certain way, act a certain way. Y'all always want somebody to save y'all, to sacrifice themselves for the greater good when it's no good. Got the nerve to name your kids after Malcolm, but don't even listen to the man's speeches. You just taking slogans and stuff. And that's about it. Sloganeering everything. Not getting the message. Oh, we love Malcolm. You know, we despise those. We despise those that love us in spite of our despicable selves. We despise those that love us in spite of our despicable selves. We despise those who love us in spite of our despicable selves. Excuse me. Man. But speaking of Dick Gregory and J. Edgar Hoover, going to play this video. I think I got an archive of Dick Gregory stuff. I'm going back through here. Y'all, a lot of y'all say y'all listen to Dick Gregory stuff for years. I don't really listen to a lot of stuff I do. I'm there. I interview the people. I just put it out there. I just put it away a lot of times. I don't revisit it a lot, but when I do, I thank God that somebody was there to get this information. Not no gossipy stuff all the time, but some good information you can use. So I want to play a bit of an interview I did back in the day with Baba Dick Gregory about that time when J. Edgar Hoover tried to get him killed through the Chicago mob. And we all be in it to win it.
This is We All Be, Newsfree Dixie for the 21st century. See how it works? Somewhere. Can you dig it?
And so I'm the one with me and Mark Lane released the investigation and book that calls the Kennedy King assassination investigation. Mm-hmm. And the only reason we added King in it, Kennedy, because this racist Congress wasn't going to appropriate the millions it needed to investigate. So all at once, J. Edgar Hoover sent a telex out to the Chicago Bureau to kill Dick Gregory. Mm. And that was in '68. Some kind of way, I had the memo before the FBI had it. Mm. It's somewhere in 1978, the Chicago Tribune found out about it. And those of y'all got computers. It's Chicago Tribune, Friday, March the 10th, 1978. Headline, front page. FBI memo, use mob to kill Dick Gregory. Those are the same folks. Now I tell you about some tapes on King. Mm. the late J. Edgar Hoover ordered the Chicago office of the FBI to develop measures to neutralize black comedian Dick Gregory and suggest the use measures could use, including alerting La Cosa Nostra. At that time, the FBI had never admitted La Cosa Nostra existed. La Cosa Nostra, to verbal attack Gregory had made on the crime syndicate. The agent is the filthiest. Crime syndicate is the filthiest thing on the planet. And on, right? So that's what we're talking about in this America.
It's Bobby Dick Gregory from Beyond the Grave, talking about the hit that J. Edgar Hoover and his FBI tried to put on him in Chicago. Yeah, I forget about Bobby Dick Gregory. He was not just an entertainer; he was a real activist. He knew his role in the movement. You know, he raised a lot of money and awareness for the likes of Dr. King and the movement. But also, you know, he ran for president of the United States back in '68. And first they say he won Pennsylvania with 9 million votes. This is not urban legend. Y'all keep on saying everything's an urban legend because y'all refuse to believe that black people have the power to shift paradigms and alter realities. And Bobby Dick Gregory was not running for a nomination to run for president. He was running directly for the office of the United States presidency. And they say they made a mistake. But look at how Pennsylvania is now. Somebody said describe Pennsylvania as like describing got Philadelphia on one side, Pittsburgh on another side, and Alabama in the middle. That's Pennsylvania. Sounds just about right. You know, but like Malcolm X said, anything south of Canada is Mississippi. It's the South. So get over yourselves. But they put a hit out on Dick Gregory. He was more than just a funny man. But even Bobby Dick Gregory tell you that celebrities don't change the world. Real people do. Everyday people change and make history, not these so-called celebrities or celebrities we all like to worship and on the altar and idolatrize. You know, make them idols, false idols at that. Thank you for your donation, man. Thank you for the donation, brother Al Kirk. We love you madly. Like I said, this is Giving Tuesdays tomorrow, folks, and the We All Be Group Incorporated is a 501c3 IRS recognized nonprofit. So if you give tonight, give tomorrow, give for the rest of the year, give for forever, we love you madly because it's tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated. So thank you all that will donate and will continue to donate for the foreseeable future. We appreciate it. Thank you all who have given generously. Know these times are hard, but you know, hard times reveal true character. Hard times reveal true character. So we leave it at that. But yeah. So, but people accuse Dick Gregory of being an agent a lot of times because how do you have access to the stuff that he knows? It's like Kanye or Ye or Yeezy. A lot of folks will say he this and that. You ain't never been in the rooms that Ye been in. A lot of us don't know how it feels to lose $2 billion. You know, a lot of us don't even know how I feel to lose like $20. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I've never been in those type of rooms that Ye was privileged to be in, where they are the real white people that set the policy for the rest of the world. So he know about the Illuminati up close and personal, right? So he know about the sacrifices, right? But I think I warmed y'all up a little bit. So let's get on. Let's talk about what we want to talk about. What I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I just, boy. Thank y'all for y'all patience. We love you madly. Okay, that's history right there. Talk about these two gentlemen right here. Guy over there, y'all know Tariq is in the suit, but the other guy that's A.L. Kamathi, known as the one and only Irritated Genie of Southeast Southeast, as in Southeast DC, man. I had met him back in 2013. And I met actually I heard Brother Tariq back in 2013 at I want to say what, Tennessee State University. That picture is right. I took with him back in 2014. That's near Ferguson, Missouri. It's after the Mike Brown summer. It's like he came back to St. Louis area back in the fall. I want to say it's the fall of 2014. He did a lecture. He showed he screened Hidden Colors 3. And he had I forgot on what campus he was on, but I recorded his Q&A, and that's on the We All Be TV channel. And I met, he had a meet and greet afterwards, and I had a chance to meet Brother Tariq, have him sign my Art of Macking book he did back in the day. Gave him a 2014 We All Be Art of His Lifetime Achievement Award. And I presented him with one of my books, my first book, James Reese Europe Jazz Lieutenant. And I had a chance to ask him, pick his brain a little bit, ask him a question or two. And I'm gonna tell you, the first time I became aware of Tariq, I want to say it was back in 2010, excuse me. I was working as a janitor and at the HBCU at Lamont Owen College. I was cleaning up offices after hours. So brother who worked there, who recognized me, he recognized, let me speak. He acknowledged me, he recognized me as being Brother Ron of We All Be. He was very aware of my work. And he said, I want you to hear this thing called Hidden Colors, right? It's documentary. So he burned me a copy, he burned me a DVD. And I'm not ashamed to admit, I got a burnt DVD copy of the first Hidden Colors, right? I brought the other Hidden Colors. I brought Book Breaking. I have paid for events. I have actually went to the one and only FBA conference back in 2020. Even got like a $300 speeding ticket for trying to get there. Oh, close to $300, I think. I don't think it was quite $300 going through Alabama. That's a different story. But he gave me a copy of the Hidden Colors. One. I took it home and blew my mind. Not because I didn't know a lot of stuff in the DVD. I thought that it was genius that he took the time to get these phenomenal talking heads. Like, you know, a lot of people were introduced to the likes of Dr. Umar Johnson as well as Dr. Francis Cress Wilson and Sister Shahrazad Ali through Hidden Colors. He helped reintroduce some of these people to a new generation. He also helped spot a rising star in Dr. Umar Johnson, for better or for worse. I mean, Tariq put Dr. Umar on, as far as I know. You know, because like their Hidden Colors, you know, he could talk about it had some drawbacks. He wish he could have did certain things better, but it really is a great work. That whole Hidden Colors series, whatever you may think about Tariq and pros and cons and all this stuff, he did the community a great service. Let me say he did the community a great service with that powerful DVD series because it exposed a lot of us to hidden truths about who we are, where we come from, and where we can go. So I applaud him for that alone. So this, based on that alone, he is worthy of recognition, of respect. So I honor him with that Lifetime Achievement Award from my organization. And he was cool. And I've been to a couple other Tariq Nasheed stuff. So, no, he interesting dude. Now, that picture I took with Tariq, that was 2014. Now, in 2013, I went down to Lithonia, Georgia. This is outside of Atlanta, ATL, short ad, ATL metropolitan area, whatever. It was a Black activist conference organized by the Honorable Dr. Cynthia McKinney. I went down there. She put out a call for all Black activists throughout the country and even the diaspora to come out. Let's have a meet. Let's organize and strategize and implement a movement that's going to put the Black people agenda as a priority. So I answered the call, right? I went down to Lithonia. This is also where I met the person y'all love, Dr. Randy Short. This is where I met Dr. Randy Short at this Black activist meeting called by the Honorable Dr. Cynthia McKinney. I met a lot of old and black and new Black Panthers, old Black Panthers, original Black Panthers, new Black Panthers. This is where I met the man formerly known as Willie Ricks, Mukasa Dada, the right-hand man, the Stokely Kwame Torre, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Black Power. It was Brother Mukasa Dada that gave Stokely that phrase Black Power when they was organizing in Greenwood, Mississippi. Stokely spoke that phrase in Greenwood to the world, and the rest is history. So I got a chance to meet him and his wonderful, beautiful daughter. Man, a lot of interesting people, a lot of game-changing, brilliant, committed Black folk, right? And that's where I met A.L. Kamathi, known as the Irritated Genie. A.L. was kind of quiet and reserved when I first met him. No, he's a firebrand. He's an Aries. I think he's an Aries. No, is he an Aries? No, he's a Sagittarius. He's a Sagittarius. But he got that fire. But when I first encountered A.L. Kamathi at that weekend gathering of Black activists and Black minds of melanin, all that great melanin gathered in one place, he was kind of quiet and reserved. And this is also why I met Cleo Monago. You know, they labeled him back then the gay Malcolm X. And Cleo was interesting because it's kind of like a guy, you look at him, you couldn't tell. I mean, he was not that impressive looking in terms of his dress. I think he had on some jeans and maybe a t-shirt or a sweatshirt. But when he spoke, I said, man, this man's like, he's kind of like Dr. Francis Cress Wilson as a man. Not knowing what Cleo Monago represented, because I know y'all love to light up the chats. I didn't know what Cleo was about. He didn't advocate for that type of stuff in his speech. My first encounter with Cleo, he was talking about Black liberation, Black people. He wasn't talking about the other stuff. So, but it was like, you know, A.O. kept on catching my eye because he was looking at Cleo a certain way. He had a brother with him from D.C., I believe, and he didn't say nothing. You know, he was just taking it all in, observing the room like a lot of us were. I was observing the people, like the who's who or whatever. So Cleo, I said, damn, this dude's pretty thorough with his information. Now, Cleo's highly intelligent. And I hear I think the Black Man Exchange and all this stuff. This man, my understanding, he ran organizations that he was able to get, you know, access to a lot of capital. That ain't my business to speak on that. But Cleo Monago, I didn't know who he was. I met him that weekend. And then as you follow, if you are fans of We All BTV, you know that we had a debate between Cleo and Irritated Genie on our platform. It's a classic. So y'all can go into the archives and look up there. I'll probably post that back in social media and give it out again. But Cleo Monago debated A.L. Kamathi on our platform. So A.L. started opening up towards the end of the conference. I think Cleo had to leave, and he said, "Man, y'all know who that guy is? He's this and that." I said, "Wait a minute, he was saying this, but now this is what he's about. This is this and that." Not saying anything about Cleo. Cleo is to me a decent guy, but he'll tell me that how he presented, the way he presented, he didn't tell everything about what he was representing or advocating. So okay, so A.O., you know, he's an interesting guy. He draws you in. You know, he strikes a certain way, confident. You could tell he believed the stuff he was saying. And like that last night, man, we stayed up for hours. Me and some other people, like Dr. Jahi Issa, Dr. Issa, out of St. Louis. Because they were telling us, this is the first time I heard about Black men strange fruit in Delaware because of Dr. Jahi Issa and Dr. Randy Short. They were talking about what was going on in Delaware with Joe Biden's son was running Delaware as the state attorney general. Bo Biden. I think it's Bo Biden, right? The one who died of brain cancer. But Dr. Jahi Issa lost his job at a HBCU up in Delaware, advocating for Black students as well as trying to advocate for the black men who were found in strange fruit situations up in Delaware. This is not back in the 50s and 40s. This was happening in the 2000s and 2010s. Dr. Jahi Issa actually lost his job. He was blackballed. So I met Dr. Jahi Issa, Dr. Randy Short, with A.L. Kamathi, Irritated Genie. He was holding court in the hotel lobby where we were staying. So we had a fascinating, thought-provoking conversation for hours. Me and the other group of brothers and participants. And A.O. never said he never hid who he worked for. As far as I know, he never hid the fact that he worked for the government. Matter of fact, his name was listed prominently on the Homeland Security website back in the day. Before all this trouble started happening, his name was on the Homeland Security website, El Kamathi. Right? So he wasn't hiding anything. He didn't come to me like he was an undercover guy. He's from the DC DMV. A lot of black folks work for the government that live in the DMV. I mean, a lot of y'all work in the postal service. Y'all be posting provocative stuff online, not as a postman, but as whoever you are outside of the job. Okay, so but like to me, y'all saying like he was hiding who he worked for. He wasn't. He was not hiding that he worked for the government when I met him. He wasn't. So how could he be an agent provocateur when he let you know, hey, I work at Homeland Security. His name is on the website. Around the same time he's doing these lectures and stuff. And really, Irritated Genie was a pioneer. And a lot of stuff that y'all take for granted now about the so-called rainbow agenda and all that stuff, he was exposing that years ago. You know, he wrote a book. You know, too bad Kyrie Irving didn't post the book. He didn't post this book. I will put on the screen. Man, these are some games they playing, man. Y'all gotta stop. Don't believe the hype, man. Don't believe the hype. I tell the truth, man. I gain nothing from telling these truths, man. I don't. Brother Ron ain't making no money, man. But it's funny. But I gotta say, people. I see the newbies on the scene. I've been doing this for a long, long time. I don't always give my props. And I don't even do this for the props. Do it for the game, man. I do it, because like it's each one teach one, still sharpen steel, man. It's a powerful platform. It's powerful media that we're using. We can use it right because information is power. This book right here. This is still on Amazon. War on the Horizon, right? He wrote that book while he was working at for the Navy. I think he started researching and working on that book when he was working for the Navy back in the 2000s. He self-published the book in 2005. Get your hand on that book. Irritated Genie, like Tariq, they do their research, man. Irritated is, I believe, I say he's a scholar. He's well versed on his information, and he puts it out in a way that makes you want to know more. If you have a chance to view some of his lectures from the past, like the effeminization of the black male, that's a classic. The effeminization of the black male. You can't find it. He's been banned off of social media. They deplatform. They really started deplatforming Irritated Genie before Minister Farrakhan or Alex Jones or any alt-right person you can name. He was one of the first people that I could recall being deplatformed. So how he's an agent when they trying to stop him from getting his message out to the masses? How is that agent behavior when he cannot even get his message out? I think they stopped him from receiving PayPal donations, and before he was really the guinea pig, the lab rat for all this stuff with this censoring people. But it's something about when a black man say certain things, when he's off message according to their code, when he's off message according to their code, if you stand on something, you a masculine black man, and you stand on something, you have some principles, they want to shut you down. I ain't talking about I agree with everything the Irritated Genie said. I don't agree with everything anybody say, Tariq or anybody, but I respect their right to say what they say. Because I don't want nobody stifling my free speech. That's why I don't have a problem with the Klan or the skinheads or with the white nationalists or the Proud Boys. Let them say, and let the people be the judge of the other stuff they want to partake in terms of information. So Irritated laid it out in War on the Horizon in his way. This is before anybody started really getting him. Nah, I gotta go back. Let me take that back. Because my platform is about putting current events in historical context. Find Dr. Bobby Wright. Please do yourself a favor. Try to find some lectures done by the late, great Dr. Bobby Wright. Dr. Bobby Wright, like the Wright brothers, W-R-I-G-H-T. Y'all know the Wright brothers who so-called invented the airplane? They went to high school with Paul Laurence Dunbar in Ohio. Y'all know that Paul Laurence Dunbar was friends and even business associates with the Wright brothers? Yeah, that Paul Laurence Dunbar. Look it up. Take a look. It's all online. I'm not going to do all this. Y'all going to have to start getting some of this information and start research, put some equity into it. But Dr. Bobby Wright is a lecture he did like a year or so before he died on the questionable circumstance. I don't even know what happened to Dr. Bobby Wright. Dr. Bobby Wright was a jegna for the one and only late great Chairman Fred Hampton Sr. You know, the BPP chairman up in Illinois, Chairman Fred Hampton Sr., the one who got killed by the feds when he was 21 years old sleeping. Don't wake me, they killing me. They killing me now. Don't wake me, they killing me. Okay. That Fred Hampton, his mentor or Jagna, I hate to say the word mentor, because if you read War on the Horizon, you realize why we shouldn't be calling each other mentors unless we mentoring like that. You know what I'm saying? I rather use the word Jagna, but Dr. Bobby Wright was a Jagna of Fred Hampton Sr. Try to find some information. Look up some of his lectures. I don't know if they still got it on YouTube or not. But so he just continued the work of the Dr. Bobby Wrights, of the Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, but he made it more accessible to a new generation. So why is this book still on Amazon? It's dead. Why Kyrie didn't why he didn't tweet this book out? Because like I said, if Irritated is a genie, is he a genie? Is he an agent? I don't know the man like that, but it's funny to me if he is an agent, why they not helping him get his message out? Why are they deplatforming this guy if he's an agent? I don't really get it. It's above my pay grade because I'm not an agent like that. But I make that point to say that I'm gonna play this CNN clip. This came out the same year that A.L. Kamathi was exposed and working at the Department of Homeland Security. Although I already knew that because I did a Google search of him after I met him in Georgia, and his name was on the Homeland Security website. But yeah, he was moonlighting as this revolutionary. So we'll let CNN spin it for you all, and I'll come back with some more information. Because this is We All Be. This is News Free Dixie for the 21st century. And please think about giving today for Giving Tuesday, because We All Be Group Incorporated is a non-profit recognized by good old Uncle Sam. Non-profit recognized by good old Uncle Sam and the good old US of A. Say, hey, USA, go USA, go USA. As We All Be. News Free Dixie for the 21st century.
They said it's war time. Welcome to the war front.
A.L. Kamathi, or as he calls himself, the Irritated Genie, is still at it, still on the internet condemning whites, gays, Jews, Asians, anyone who doesn't measure up to his black nationalist views.
That's how we gonna put a foot in this cracker's ass.
And he is still an employee of the Department of Homeland Security, 3 months after the agency publicly acknowledged his website calling for widespread racial violence. He declined our request for an interview, but on YouTube, even he seemed surprised he was not let go as soon as his employers found out.
I have to always remind myself, they know who you are, they know what you're doing. Don't forget that.
He's not the only one wondering how he's kept his $115,000 a year job.
This is a guy who runs a website that calls for the mass murder of whites and for war on the horizon.
The Southern Poverty Law Center has accused Kamathi of hate speech, and officials there are baffled that he remains on the federal payroll. He's been on administrative leave since August, but that just means he's collected nearly $38,000 for doing nothing.
The fact of the matter is that his views are the kind that the Department of Homeland Security should be tracking. They should not be employing him or paying him.
The department says little about the matter, confirming only that he remains an employee of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, and noting ICE does not condone any type of hateful rhetoric or advocacy of violence. Accusations of misconduct are investigated thoroughly, and if substantiated, appropriate action is taken. Before he was put on leave, Kamathi was less diplomatic, saying he works for the devil, but oddly adding,
It's like a fun job because I'm not just going there pushing paper. I'm going there having to sit down and say, okay, how do I help these people that need to be helped?
So he called it a fun job. Some government watchdog groups say, look, firing a federal employee is just complicated and it takes time. Kamathi has suggested maybe he's still employed because the feds want to keep an eye on him. But Aaron, considering how routinely he savages people and promotes violence, taking on everyone from Trayvon Martin's parents to President Obama, it's really hard to imagine how Homeland Security could not be keeping an eye on him.
I always feel like somebody's watching me. Okay, so that's CNN spin from 2013, right? No, he made his money. They let him go. That's how it goes, right? I'm just sitting here reading y'all comments. Thank y'all for participating. Jordan, thank you, Sister Luna, for moderating. We love you madly. And somebody said, where's Al Kamathi now? He does have a website still. I'm gonna show the website. I remember him and T West. Y'all remember T West? Afro Synergy News. They got rid of Afro Synergy News on YouTube. But one of his last shows, I believe he did one with Irritated Genie. Dropped some great knowledge. Yeah, Irritated, like one of the first people I knew talked about the Leo Frank case in a frank manner, about the connection between Leo Frank and the Birth of a Nation movie, the original one that brought back the Klan. This is A.L. Kamathi's website, or Irritated Genie. Social architects, right? Social architects. Let me put that in the chat. Like I said, he's been demonetized, deplatformed. He got something in there where you can send a donation to him via, you put it in your shopping bag cart thing. You know how it goes. But I'm gonna put his website address. I just put it in the chat. And this used to be called the War on the Horizon. And he still got that name registered and directed to this, social architect stuff, right? But Irritated Genie was a journalist in his own right too. I believe he was very media savvy, like with the DVDs about the feminization of the black male and the agenda. He articulated those things very well. You may not agree with his viewpoints, but he articulated very well. And he had like a treasure trove of interviews he did with some of our greatest freedom fighters, some of our unsung, like the widow of Robert F. Williams. His wife spoke to Irritated Genie at length about the movement, about their struggle. She passed away, I believe, I want to say back in 2013 or 2014. Actually wrote my condolences to her son, who was a minister up in Detroit. He passed on from Lou Gehrig's disease. But he had that elder on spitting game about the state of affairs of black people, about how they prepare themselves as black men and women to fight this fight against the so-called oppressor. So I don't know where those interviews are now and those commentaries he did, but whether you agree with his point of view, he had a point of view and he had facts and receipts to back those point of views up. So y'all can check that site out. And also I would say this. I think it's interesting. We got to name the names. if somebody offends you, is it fair to blame a whole group of people or to name the individual or individuals that actually offended you, that did your people harm? I noticed there's a trend among certain people and groups. You know, we talk about white supremacy in the abstract. We talk about racism in the abstract, but we never talk about the acts enacted by certain people or individuals. Name them names, say their names, say their names. Everybody's not an agent because they said their names, okay? We need to know their names. We need to know the organization names, their names. That's how you get your reparations. You got to get that paper trail. You can't just talk about white supremacy, white supremacists, white supremacy. Name their names, say their names, name their names, right? They ain't going to fly no more. You cannot do this. I'm going to tell you why. When I just thought about that, this is why we can't get justice for Emmett Till. We don't want to call out the people who actually helped this go down. Roy Bryant, when it was the 30th anniversary of the Emmett Till killing, it's back in 85, right? You had the national news media looking for the people who were involved, the key players. They were able to track down Roy Bryant back in the Mississippi Delta. If you recall, for those who may not know, after the murder trial, after the brothers Roy Bryant and J.W. Malin was found not guilty of killing Emmett Till, and after that kidnapping trial didn't go the way it should have went, where they basically character assassinated Emmett and his father, Louis Till, the brothers confessed to Look magazine that they did kill Emmett, and really that caused the whites and the blacks in the Mississippi Delta community to turn their backs on Roy Bryant and his family. So they had to leave Mississippi because the white folks wouldn't support them. And how you gonna brag about this? You already made it look bad. You embarrassing us. Now you're gonna confess to this? We can't have y'all around. Y'all got to get out here, skedaddle, scam, scram, you know. So they left. And then Roy Bryant came back years later, divorced from Carolyn Bryant. He opened up another store in the heart of the Black Mississippi Delta. And he said something to a reporter from the Clarion Ledger. That's the top newspaper in Jackson, Mississippi, probably in the state of Mississippi, the Clarion Ledger. He said something to that reporter. I ain't gonna never forget. I'm gonna paraphrase what he said. He said that black folks today are not afraid like they were back in the 50s, but they do not know. If they knew who I was, I would be a dead man. He said they're not afraid, but they have no knowledge. Because they had knowledge of who I am, they would have killed me. So when you say white supremacy, and don't name their names, how you know who the enemy is? Saying to me that the enemy is the person you can't say their names. Is that fair to say? How are you talking about we want justice? We don't want no confrontation. Well, how can you get justice without confrontation? I know how people could get money. Because in this world, in this system, you make money by perpetuating the problem. Not by solving the problem, but by perpetuating the problem. That's how you make a profit off of other people's pain and misery. That's how this system works. It's like up in Buffalo. They want you to believe that dude killed all them black folks in the grocery stores random, right? It wasn't random, it was strategic. Sometimes when you try to get a certain target, collateral damage doesn't matter. When you try to get a certain target, collateral damage doesn't matter. It's like with white people. When they make a sandwich, they don't care how much mayonnaise on the sandwich. I got a limit to my mayonnaise. I don't have a problem with mayonnaise, but there can be too much mayo, okay? But white, some people just love to slap the crap on. I don't want mayo. I'll be going to certain places, please. Just give me a drop of mayo. Well, like, I want to drown the sandwich in mayo. Hey, oh. So what I'm saying, what if that white boy was sent to neutralize just one target, But to cover up the evidence of that, he got to kill a lot of, you got to do a lot of collateral damage. Because then you say, oh, it was random. Even though he was scoping out the place for a minute, he was looking around, checking the place out. Then they say the security guard was working on some revolutionary thing. They're going to change the world, some invention, and the powers that be didn't want that to happen because if he eliminate the problem, he cut out their profit. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Stuff happens. I'm in Memphis. They do this all the time. They make random acts of violence. They make professional hits look like random acts of violence. That's what Memphis do. Oh, it was a lone gunman, or it was a carjacking. It ain't no hits. It was a carjacking. Or, it was $1 billion jogging around 4 o'clock in the morning. It was $1 billion jogging around Memphis 4 o'clock in the morning. Just have to get kidnapped and killed. It was a random act of violence. You know how people do it. It was a random act of violence. Okay, but you gotta name names. If you ain't naming the names of the people, you're not serious about liberation. You're not serious about reparations. As far as I'm concerned, you cannot justify chasing your tail and talking about its progress. Got me going in circles. You can't justify that. And then want to promote we're doing progress. This is not right. This is not honest. You got to name the names. Now, I saw the interview with the white lady did. I think she's from Mississippi. And she's a chocolate snow bunny, whatever she is. She ain't pure white. Whatever she is, she ain't pure snow white. She interesting. You can tell she like black men. She want like she's just all about saving. I'm gonna say white women are some of the most deceptive creatures on the planet. They got you black women fooled, but y'all always falling for the white women okie doke. Some of the worst slave owners were white women. It was a white woman, Rebecca Latimer, I believe. Her name Rebecca Latimer, the first woman to be a senator in U.S. history. She told white men, lynch these Negroes. This woman, you talking about Georgia? You talking about how divisive Georgia is right now? They had a woman senator from Georgia, Rebecca Latimer, that encouraged white men to lynch wholesale at mass black people. I think her name was Rebecca Latimer. I think that's her name. Let me look this up. Because y'all like to, if I say one thing wrong, everything's invalid. I can't make a mistake as a human, but because I'm a black man, I say one thing wrong, I get a day off. Everything, it doesn't matter. Everything's invalid. So let me show you Rebecca Latimer. I think that's her name. Rebecca Latimer Felton. Okay. If I ain't say the Felton part wrong, just wrong about everything. So white women that led the charge on lynching black men and black people. White women that were some of the most vicious slave owners. White women that said that black men did not deserve to vote before white women, although it was black men dying in the Civil War that freed everybody. They gave everybody a chance to get the franchise. But we all want to minimalize and downplay the sacrifices of black men throughout history. Y'all ain't black men. Hey, a lot of y'all wouldn't hell if it was for the brothers. I could think about even during World War II. You think about Detroit in the wartime industry, how the factories that was converted to working for the war effort, these so-called car factories, whatever, they converted them to help the war effort. And not to even mention that Henry Ford was good friends with Adolf Hitler. Henry Ford created a lot of vehicles and stuff for Adolf. He's a businessman. When you trying to make money, morals come in second place. Okay. So you had black women working with the white women that were being treated like second and third class citizens. You had factories in Detroit where black women could not eat in the cafeteria. They had to eat in the restroom. They were getting less paid than their white counterparts. Guess what happened? When the factories tried to get rid of the black women, guess who came to the rescue? Black men. Them brothers said, if you don't employ our sisters and treat them right, we're going to quit. We're going to strike. So because the black men stepping up, being men, protecting their sisters, their women, that the women were able to come back and get their full pay and eat in the cafeteria. And, you even look at the Montgomery bus boycott. It's successful because black men arming themselves, protecting black women, escorting black women. That thing lasted for 381 consecutive days. Started December of 55, excuse me, and lasted until 1956. It's because black men, veterans and whatnot, said enough is enough. We're tired of our women being not only mistreated, but raped by white bus drivers and white cops. This is what's happening on the regular. You know, it's regular for black women to get raped by white men in authority positions. Think about that Reese Taylor incident when she got raped. She was kidnapped, coming home from church, kidnapped by 6 to 7 white men. They raped her. And then they wanted a character assassinate. This one was coming from church, walking with her best friend's son, walking home to see her husband and her daughter. And they want to label her as a home wrecker and a prostitute. Reese Taylor, who just passed away just several years ago, before she was 100 years old. They raped her so bad, they destroyed her womb. She couldn't have kids no more. She could never have kids after that. And she was a young, beautiful woman. And her daughter died in a car accident tragically some years later. So she went through a lot of hell, all that trauma. When white men raped her and everybody calling her like, you know, less than a child of God. And she was a good woman. So may she rest in peace. But Rosa Parks, who was working in the NACP, went up to that part of Alabama to investigate herself what happened to Reese Taylor. This is almost like 10 years before the Montgomery bus boycott. So, you know, so many stories of black women being raped by police officers. This is all carry on when police officers was original slave patrol, right? It's all this a part of our legacy of slavery that we don't want to talk about. We say we don't want no more slave movies. We got to talk about this. Because how you going to get your reparation? You don't talk about it. Matter of fact, our ancestors, they knew we had to talk about it. They got recordings, the slave narratives. Look up the slave narratives. You know, I know y'all like to be comfortable watching football, so you can look this up online. A lot of these narratives, these interviews of former enslaved people were recorded for posterity, right? So I'm not with this we can't say their names type of stuff. I don't know what type of weirdo stuff is that, because who's the enemy then? The people we can't talk about must be the enemy, because we can't say their name. Nobody, to me, no group or no individual is above criticism. We all have our shortcomings, our pros and cons as individuals, as well as groups and entities, right? How can we move forward in honest progress if we cannot talk about what has held us back, or who has held us back or held us back all these years? I keep holding on, okay? Like I said, this is therapeutic for me to talk about, but your idea about an agent, that you don't need no William O'Neill's. William O'Neill, you know, that was the security guard for bodyguard for Fred Hampton, who set him up, FBI asset. You don't need that no more. You got the internet, you got social media. People are easily emotionally triggered, provoked. You don't need that type of stuff no more. You don't need a Eugene Roberts to infiltrate the Nation of Islam, to infiltrate the inner circle of Malcolm X to become his chief bodyguard. You don't need a Eugene Roberts no more, who worked for NYPD Bossy program. Same cat who set up Afeni Shakur and the Black Panthers and the Panther 21 trial. You got the internet now. People telling themselves anyway. People are oversharing. Ain't no privacy. Like I said, when I talk to people on the phone, I don't care if they're an agent. I be joking with them. I'm not really joking. I'm joking and I'm not joking. I say, you know, are you an agent? They laugh. Nah, man, bro. I got so-and-so on the phone. Man, he a fan of yours. Okay, y'all get on the phone. It's BS a little bit. Let's talk some stuff. Because then, like, years later, whatever, people say, well, you know, Mr. Hurd, full disclosure here, was, you know, so-and-so, you know her as Terry. She actually was so-and-so that worked for NSA, ATF, and this is a conversation that y'all had, you know, date so-and-so, and this is what you said. Say, hey, man, did you check out my podcast, man? I already know that everybody's an agent. So why I just say what I say, man? Waka, 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 waka. Woo, woo. You know, it don't make a difference, man. It's a game. Like Dick Gregory, it's a game. It's a game. Once you understand that and understand that, stop being afraid. I asked Dick Gregory one time, I said, how can you tell somebody's an agent? He said, he don't know. He said, just do your thing. It is what it is, because he said the universe will offer you some protection.
And I've been blessed. The ancestor stars have been looking out for me. Universe, so God. But every day, one day it's gonna be that day, though. It is what it is. But like, even if you look at Tariq and Irritated Genie. Let me put this picture, because I met both of these guys. Like I said, I've been around for a minute, man. I ain't new to this. Man, everybody want to do all this stuff for clicks and likes and views. I don't like to do that. I already know that they cheat me out my views and likes and stuff. I already know that, because I can't believe I'm just recognized, just walking around, getting chicken and working out in the gym, and somehow I just can't get 100,000 subscribers. Come on, man. And what you think about my content, I have some good stuff out there. I have some hits and misses like everybody else, but I have some good stuff out there. So you ain't fooling me, buddy. But I don't want to bring this up too. I can't believe it's kind of going by fast and slow. But I hope I'm entertaining and infotaining at the same time. But I want to show these brothers pictures, because I think it's interesting, because like we all got attracted to the Ferguson thing, the Mike Brown thing that happened in summer, August of 2014. They left Mike Brown out there just being rotting in the sun, the hot St. Louis misery sun. I ain't know nothing about Ferguson when I was going to WashU in St. Louis. I was kind of in my WashU bubble, so to speak. I had my extended St. Louis family, but I didn't know about no Ferguson. But I didn't find real about Ferguson until the Mike Brown thing of August of 2014. You know, Irritated Genie and Tariq Nasheed, they connected with a beautiful brother, a fellow Taurus brother, Darren King D. Seals. You know, Darren King D. Seals, right? This is a guy who was a real grassroots activist. He was a Taurus like me and Malcolm X. We all Tauruses. Tauruses, we be setting off. We know how to organize. We know how to set it off. We're great at communicating. This brother was like a beautiful soul. He actually exposed Black Lives Matter LLC. He exposed them. See, my thing, Black lives do matter. Everybody's life matter. You know, you had the grassroots Black Lives Matter movement, more organic, people from the streets, people from the neighborhood, from the community, like like Darren King D. Seals, guys and girls and people that actually put their lives on the line, who was standing up for where they live, to advocate for justice and liberation for their people who were being harassed and sometimes brutalized by the so-called law enforcement, being put in prisons and jails without bond, all this stuff, right? These are the brothers and sisters we should have been supporting, you know. But you got an organization, George Soros Finance. You know, they did several articles not too long after the Ferguson thing. They said like George Soros put like what $30 to $40 million into the Ferguson thing, and you see now they got a representative from the area, Cori Bush. But does she represent us? Do y'all know how many Black activists have been killed since those Ferguson summer days? You know, the famous iconic picture where the brother had the bag of potato chips and he had the gas canister in his hand, but to throw it back like he was Kirk Warren on somebody, or Lamar Jackson. You know, that brother dead, right? He allegedly committed suicide in a moving car with so-called friends, allegedly. You know what happened to Darren King D. Seals? They found him shot up and burnt up in a car. They found several people shot up and burnt up in cars in Ferguson area, in St. Louis area. Matter of fact, I think one of Mike Brown's friends, when the prosecutor failed to bring up charges on the guy who killed Mike Brown, around the corner from that press conference, one of Mike Brown's associates, I believe, one of his good friends, was found shot up and burnt up in a car on the same night. This is right before Thanksgiving of 2014, where he made the announcement in the evening time. Why would he make that type of announcement in the evening time? Were you trying to set the city on fire? Were you trying to burn down St. Louis? See, there's like all this side op, false flag, side op stuff. Why he didn't do that early in the day? So you had a woman who was an activist in the Ferguson movement. Her son was found hanging from a tree, I believe, in the backyard. I think her son was found hanging from a tree in her backyard. See, I've already get, but where is the pressure on the powers that be? Why hasn't Cori Bush? I don't know too much about Cori Bush, Why has she advocated for these people who have been killed after the fact? How many people you think are still catching hell from those days in Ferguson for standing up for what was right, for having a moral code and compass? How many people you think are catching hell that we don't hear about? But what I understand is King D Seals. No, allegedly he actually what to do with the brother. Because King D slapped that guy, right? He ended up running for mayor of Baltimore several years ago. You know, the guy used to wear the blue vest, the black dude. You don't hear nothing about him no more, right? What happened to the old boy? He used to wear the blue vest. Like a lot of people, because he was on Twitter and stuff. Like Twitter really took off. People talk about Black Twitter. Black Twitter was on fire during that Mike Brown Ferguson movement, right? So you had people becoming like overnight celebrities, man. Like the dude with the vest. I can't think of his name now. Y'all probably know in the chat. I'll look later, but he was just tweeting out. I guess he was a war correspondent or whatever. He was tweeting out what's going on. Also, make sure people, raise them donations. Like he was basically exploiting what was going on for his gain, from my understanding. So he was raising money. He was not but they made him the leader. The powers that be wanted him to be the face. They wanted that rainbow agenda to be front and center doing that whole thing. And King D, he exposed that. He exposed what was going on around, because he ended up slapping the dude. Leslie slapped that guy. And some people in that movement, it was fragmented, because some of them people that was the so-called comrades, they wish harm on King D Seals. They wish harm on. They wish death, I think, on King D. Your words create worlds. And then mission accomplished. He got killed. Just 29 years young. They murdered that man. Shot him up and burned him up beyond recognition. But before he died, he befriended both Irritated Genie and Tariq Nasheed. He got interviewed by Irritated Genie and Tariq Nasheed, I think. I think Tariq. And they both saw something in the brother. The brother was charismatic. He spoke his mind. He was like a throwback. Like if he, back in the day, he would have been right there with Fred Hampton and Mark Clark and them guys. He would have that type of fire in him, that revolutionary spirit in him. And they snuffed him out. And it never sat right with me. The fact that black folk, we could talk about Shanquilla Robinson, no disrespect to the dead, but we forget about King D Seals. We forget about Alberta Odell Jones. There's so many people I could talk about. They talk about there was another young black man killed in Mississippi under questionable circumstances. What about what happened to Frederick Jermaine Carter? Got found in a white neighborhood hanging from a tree in the middle of the day, but his body wasn't there that morning, but the coroner said he was dead for at least a day or 2 days. It's so much stuff that I deal with. It's hard for me to get my mind around that just even do this stuff here that I feel like people should have more common sense about. But Irritated did. He befriended the brother. He met him, and Tariq met him. And I believe Tariq paid for his funeral. Okay, good. But this brother is a casualty of something bigger than all of us. He died for the truth and for the liberation of his people. I know soldiers like this. My friend, Marcus Jones, my brother. A lot of y'all can't recall Gen 6, right? I was there. Not in General Louisiana. Hell no. I was there. It's been one of the first social media or media platforms in America to interview the key participants in the Gen 6 movement. I did that the summer of 2007. You know, I interviewed the parents of the boys. If y'all can't recall, they was trying to send these boys away for life for beating up a white boy who probably said some stuff that he shouldn't have said. Not saying they should have beat them to a pulp, but they overcharged the boys. They're trying to throw these boys away. And black folks said, we ain't having it. So I interviewed some of the parents, some of the lawyers, some of the activists that were involved in the early days, even brother Tony Brown, not of Tony Brown's Journal, very, very popular Louisiana talk show host named Tony Brown. He actually won the activism on the ground. He coined the phrase Gen 6. He helped get attention from the likes of the Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons. And Michael Baston. People remember Michael Baston part in it, but it was Tony Brown on the ground from day one, even with the tree incident. That's really was covering what's going on in Gina. So I had talked to all of them, but one brother stuck out in my mind. was my brother Marcus Jones. Good brother, man. Good brother. His son is Michael Bell. That's the one that on it. He really was the one that was really crucified more severely than anybody in the Gen 6 fathers, Gen 6 defendants. He really served some time, right? But he was able to recover. He graduated from Southern University with honors, I believe, back in 2014. So he was able to live, he was able to, become a college graduate. But his father came back from Dallas and moved back to Gina to advocate for his son, not only for his son and the other defendants, but also for Black people. He wanted real liberation and justice for Black people. You understand? You got to understand that. They tried to character assassinate our dear brother Marcus Jones in the media. They tried like he was misogynistic, that he was too, so he had too much testosterone. He was a man's man. Man stood on his square. He spoke his mind, and he didn't back down from injustice. It's a good brother, but they'll try like he was disrespectful towards women. This is before Me Too and all this other crap. They'll be trying to discredit him in the media to discredit his perspective and point of view. He's the reason why I reached out to Dick Gregory, because he told me, Brother Ron, I want you to connect with Dick Gregory. And he gave me his contact information. I reached out, but I didn't follow up like I should have, and I ended up following up. And I remember when Marcus Jones called in on one of the first interviews I did with Baba Dick Gregory on my Blog Talk radio platform back in the day. Dick remember who he was. How you doing, man? How you doing, Doc? How you doing, man? How you and the family and all that? Okay. I ain't gonna forget Marcus, man, because they try to they brought in women to try to discredit this brother. It's a lot of stuff, but a lot of y'all can't recall Gen 6, man. This is like 2 years after Katrina, man. So much crap. But the reason why I'm thinking about him now because his death anniversary is coming up. This is crazy. There's like King D. He died of some very questionable circumstances. I didn't know he was dead until Dick Gregory is dead. I was looking for Brother Marcus. I didn't hear from him in a while. And found out he died in some weird highway accident down in Louisiana. Allegedly, him and a friend was collecting firewood for a big, they was going to prepare food for some homeless people, for some people that fell on hard times in his hometown area. So they was gathering wood and supplies and stuff. So allegedly he was riding in the back of a truck, of an open truck, with the stuff, right? Pickup truck. Somehow, while the friend was driving down the highway, he fell out the truck and got ran over by several cars. That's how he died. It was like some Final Destination stuff, allegedly. And this like days after his son graduated. So he got a chance to see his son graduate. But he didn't live too long after that. I didn't know about that. It really hurt me to find out that Marcus was dead. And I called his mom. The winter of 2017. I want to say it was back in December 2017. The interview was on We All Be. I don't know if she's still around. Good woman. But Marcus was like a miracle baby. She was like I think he was the only one left of her kids that was still around at the time. He was young. I guess he was like one of them babies. So like, he ain't supposed to happen, but he happened. He was determined to come through the world. And it was just so sad just talking to her about his son. Saying, "Oh, he really looked out for me. He took care of me and all that. And now he's gone." He was a young man. I want to say Marcus was in the early 40s when he got killed or died. Whatever. But we forget about those people, man. We forget about people like that. I can't. It bothers me. I care too much, man. That's why it bothers. All this stuff bothers me. But I'm gonna play Irritated Genie. When Tariq accused him of being a agent provocateur years ago, almost 10 years ago. I redid the audio and uploaded it to YouTube. I'm gonna play that. Read some more stuff, offer you some more insight, then I'm gonna get out of here. How about that? I hope I've been of service to you all. Hope I ain't waste your time. If I did, so it is what it is. Not to listen to old Brother Ron anymore. But I just think it's nonsense. I don't believe Irritated is what y'all trying to like. He's not William O'Neal, okay? Hell, I even talked to Ernest Withers. You know Ernest Withers, the photographer. Man, I got all these stories, man. Y'all don't know me like that. I got some receipts. I remember I visited Mr. Withers. Mr. Withers was a famous civil rights photographer. This year is his centennial year of his birth. So he got like his son, his last living son, and his daughters. They are not on the same side of trying to undo this man's legacy. The daughter has the Ernest Withers Gallery with a lot of his work in the gallery. Downtown, it used to be his former studio on Bill Street. The son is the curator and keeper of their home, which is a historical landmark now. So it's a tale of two legacies of Ernest Withers. Son, daughter, they divided. But still, I respect the fact that they are honoring their father's complicated legacy in their own way. Matter of fact, there will be a documentary coming out on Ernest Withers, I believe in January or early next year on PBS. But I had a chance, Ernest Withers, like, he was one of the first Black police officers in modern Memphis history. Like one of the first 5 or 6 Black police officers back in the day. Black police officers in Memphis back in the day, they couldn't arrest white people. That's how crazy, that's how messed up this racism thing is. Why are you going to be a cop? You see a white person committing a crime, and you as a Black cop couldn't even arrest them. Could do nothing to them. But Ernest was one of the first Black cops of the modern era of Memphis. He also was a famous photojournalist. He was considered the dean of the American Civil Rights Photographers. He covered the Emmett Till trial. It's his photo that shows most right pointing at the kidnappers and killers of his nephews in court. He took that photo. Ernest Withers did. And also he developed that photo that a guy from South Africa took of Dr. King lying on the balcony floor at the Lorraine Motel where everybody's pointing, and he's lying on the floor with Morrell McCullough, who was an agent provocateur. Morrell McCullough was Memphis Police Department undercover military intelligence. He eventually became the first Black commissioned officer in the CIA. Now that's an undercover agent, okay? Irritated Genie, name featured prominently on Homeland Security Department website. Ain't that. Whatever he is, he ain't that type of agent, okay? But I had a chance to talk with Brother Withers, Baba Withers, that they call him. That's why I started calling Baba Gregory, because I heard brothers from here, the old heads, call Ernest Withers Baba. So that's why people say, "Oh, we'll call him Baba in '73." But I made it relevant again. Give me my props. I'm like Soulja Boy on that. I made it relevant again. Thank you, Brother Sean Fenty, for the donation. We love you madly. Giving Tuesday, nonprofit. We all be group. Give if you can. But I had a chance to pick Mr. Withers' brain. This had to be like 3 years at least before he passed away in 2007. So I just called him, saw his number listed in the phone book, called him, said, "Come on down." I said, I came on down. His studio, he photographed the who's who. He was the guy that photographed Dr. King and Ralph Abernathy on that bus in Montgomery after they won that victory, the Montgomery bus boycott. That was his photo. It's so many photos he done that he doesn't get proper credit for. Negro Leagues, all types of performers. He did that famous photo of Elvis and B.B. King together. That's Ernest Withers. So brilliant artist. And I was funny, like I said, "Don't you know what's the guy named Gordon Parks?" This man look at me, "Don't I know Gordon Parks?" He put out his wallet. He got a picture of him, Russell Simmons, and Gordon Parks at one of Gordon Parks' birthday parties up in New York. So he said, "Man, who you think I am?" Man? Well, Mr. Withers was cool. I had no problem with Mr. Withers, right? And then years later, maybe 3 years after he passed, guy from the Commercial Appeal came out with an expose saying he was an FBI informant. And it really shook a lot of people. Because the way they make it sound like he actually helped mastermind the assassination of Dr. King. And that's far from, I don't know, he didn't do that. He was an informer. He had an FBI handler in town. Yes, he did. But all of them talked to the feds, man. All them leaders talk to the feds. We had Maxine Smith. You know, she's a civil rights legend. She got a lot of buildings and stuff named after her. And her and Dr. Vasco Smith, her husband, he got the Shelby County government building named after him downtown. They were exposed as FBI informants. They was talking to them boys. But everybody was talking to them boys. Don't y'all understand how the game works? You know, Malcolm X, there's a famous recording of Malcolm X talking to the feds in his home. The FBI came to Malcolm X trying to flip information, you know, get information from him about the Nation of Islam, and Malcolm won't fold. Malcolm had enough sense to record this conversation he had with them boys, you know, for posterity. And Brother Gil Noble, a righteous ancestor, he interviewed the lieutenants of Brother Malcolm. He was, you know, he played that recording on his show Like It Is. Is it like it is? You know, we don't even know. See, we don't even honor the right people. Y'all talking about some new black media. Let's take it back to the old school. Let's talk about Gil Noble. Let's talk about Lester Vilt Middleton down in South Carolina. Lester Vilt Middleton. Look his stuff up. In South Carolina, no less. They gone, but their work remains. But yeah, everybody was the FBI talked to everybody. Y'all under this illusion that, you know, if you talk to the Fed, that means you were agent. No, they talk to everybody. They law enforcement. I mean, you Tariq talked about how they come to his house, right? How the feds be watching. What's Pac said? The feds be watching. So you gotta look at it like this. Ernest Withers had a lot of kids. He had a whole bunch of kids. He was a freelance photographer. So yeah, he got paid from the FBI. But here's the thing. You know, he taking pictures of a meeting, whether he taking pictures. His handler, okay, I like those pictures. I like that picture. I'll buy those pictures off of you. Tell me who's in these pictures. Okay, he's an informant. Okay. Now, was he an agent provocateur? I don't believe so. But he was snitching. If y'all, this is what y'all want to call it. But was he implementing people's demise? I don't think so. He'll try to make a living. See, Andrew Young, Ambassador Young, he said we knew they was listening to us. We already knew that. That came with the territory. He said we already knew they were listening to us. We had nothing to hide. That's how I live my life. I don't have to hide. So how you gonna say I'm exposed, Brother Ron? I'm telling you a lot of stuff already. I'm not that hard to find. I ain't Bin Laden. It's Brother Ron. Okay? So if you live the life, if you live in a transparent way, if you're honest about who you are, if you're honest about what you're doing, there's no need to hide. So Ernest, I talked to the late, great Reverend C.T. Vivian about Ernest Withers. I talked to Reverend C.T. Vivian several times in my life. I went to his home, amazing home, beautiful artwork. He said, according to him, he wasn't upset about Ernest Withers. He was more upset about a guy they had employed that gave benefits to. He wouldn't name his name, but the person he was talking about was Jim Harrison. He was actually employed directly by the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. His name was Jimmy Harrison or Jim Harrison. Look him up. But he was an FBI asset. He was giving them all types of interesting information to the feds, right? He was a plant. He actually was an agent, as y'all call it. Not just an informant, but he was a poser. You understand? He was posing as something else to other people, but he was really something else. That's an agent to me. He wasn't honest with the so-called people that employed him about why he was in their employ, what was the reason why he wanted to get that job. But he had access to very important people and very important details that he made available to the FBI. Even I think on the day that Dr. King got assassinated, he met with his handlers of the FBI. So Reverend C.T. Vivian, they say he was Dr. King's favorite minister. We talked about that person. He wouldn't name his name, but you tell he became very angry when he thought about that person. He was very upset about that person. But he wasn't like that with Ernest Withers. He said he did more good than damage, Doc, because he helped publicize our movement. Without that camera being there, a lot of stuff would not have been known to the people. But Dick Gregory saw him as a Judas. You know how Dick Gregory be. You know, he said, no, he's a Judas. He's a da-da-da-da. And I respect both these men. And they both pass on the glory. righteous ancestors, but they all had different points of view. Both guys were close to King, but they had a different point of view when it came to Withers. And that's okay. But my whole thing about Withers was I didn't see him as a person that actually killed King. He provided information to his handler, but he didn't provide no floor plan to get King, as far as I know. He didn't do no William O'Neal, who was posing. It's complicated. Because Ernest Withers was a cop at one point, right? Maybe he thought he was keeping an eye out on the movement. Maybe he thought by him telling certain things, he was helping run cover for other people. It's hard to say because people allow him to die without really saying or really confronting him about how he saw his role with the FBI. And he was employed. He was getting money from the FBI. They got a number for him. Just like Al Sharpton. He's been exposed as working with the FBI. Yeah, y'all want to overlook all that. But everybody talk to them boys, man. That's the game. It's their game. How I'm going to play their game and not deal with them? They make the rules. But anyway, let me play this and I'll come right back. This is Irritated Genie defending himself against Tariq Nasheed's allegations. Because Tariq, it's funny how God works. Tariq did a show on Saturday, I believe. And folks will contact me, but they're not telling me exactly why they contacted me. They said, man, you should listen to Tariq's last show he did. And I said, okay. I saw that Tariq had on the screen the video that I did with Irritated Genie from October 2013, responding to Tariq's allegations of him being an agent. He didn't play it, but I give him props for giving me some love. But I did give Tariq a plaque, y'all. I don't want to hear y'all say, well, Brother Ron, you got to axe the ground. I have no animosity towards Tariq at all. I have no animosity towards anybody. I just want the truth to come out. I just want people to think for themselves and draw their own conclusions. Stop being groupthink. Stop being team groupthink all the time. All right? That's all I'm saying. But it's all complex. But let me play this. And let me shut up a little bit. I thank y'all for being patient, who rocking kind of deep up in here for me. So I don't get the thousands of listeners. That's rare, but this number of people is like me getting 10,000 people. Cause I know these are people, a lot of y'all in there, y'all focused, y'all dedicated, y'all gonna ask the right questions, y'all gonna do the research, y'all gonna come to y'all conclusions. So I thank the universe, so God, that I am of service to you all on this weird mission that I'm on. It doesn't make any sense to me, folks, but it is what it is. So we all be. It's News Free Dixie for the 21st century. That's News Free Dixie for the 21st century, man. Can you dig it?
This is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. See how it works? Somewhere. Can you dig it?
And also, I like for you to address too. I know I had a chance to actually ask the famous lecturer and author Tariq Nasheed of Hidden Colors fame about your situation. Like, he's been going on his platform saying that you are an agent. And you know, people really, he got a lot of influence in the black community, Tariq Nasheed. And I just want to get your take about that, because a lot of people do think that you are an agent. Like you said, you was making $115,000 a year, getting paid by the government, but you was not making any type of, I guess, income from your activist activities. How would you explain that? Or what are your thoughts on that?
You know, and I don't know much about this Nasheed character. I know that he's not a social activist in the African community, so he's not somebody that would what I would find relevant as a real freedom fighter, what his opinion is. But I would say this: I understand the position and the mentality of your average black person that here's a person working with the government, because this is what happens. Since we found out about COINTELPRO, how they get government paid informants to undermine the nationalist community and kill our leaders, it has properly sent a level of fear or concern and apprehension in the minds of people who want to do something for black people. And it should. This is the problem, though. The fear and apprehension and the concern has gone to the point of becoming irrational and thoughtless and pretty much ridiculous. Consider the fact that, first of all, we all would know this. This is for a thinking person who uses their brain. An agent for the government that's sent to undermine the African-centered community doesn't go to work every day. Their work is being an African-centered community. In other words, they don't have an office. They meet in a back alley somewhere, or they meet somewhere and they get their instructions. They don't work a real government job every day, sitting at an office with their name where everybody can see them. It would defeat the purpose because, particularly with the internet today, if I'm listed one place with my real name and my full duties and responsibilities, and everybody can see that, then it would be pretty much ridiculous and impossible for me, on the other hand, to be an undercover agent, because I'm not undercover. I'm in wide space. The whole purpose of being an undercover agent and working on behalf of the government is no one knows that you work for the government. In fact, people believe that you are authentically part of the movement. They have no idea how you come up with all of this money and how you get the access to all of this stuff, but you just do it, and it's kind of amazing. And then you start trouble amongst African people, and you advocate drug use. You advocate homosexuality. You advocate acceptance of things that are not good for the Black community. If anybody has any amount of intellect or intelligence or just even reasonable person, they would look at what we do, and you just look at any glance, a cursory glance at anything Irritated Genie or Warner Horizon has done, and an intelligent person says, well, they can't be working for the government. Why? Well, he's calling the whole push is for our people to accept Obama. When the Obama campaign was going on, the Irritated Genie was coming out there telling us he's going to be promoting homosexuality in Africa. Don't support this guy. He's one of the few voices that was saying it. Well, the government wouldn't pay him to speak out against Obama when he's working for Obama. That doesn't make any sense. Another thing, and this one really is a telltale story for a thinking person.
Mm-hmm.
I have the key to the African mind. I mean, you've seen some of the work that we do.
Right.
And I'm saying beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt, I'm telling people, I mean, I don't have a problem saying it. If you put any Black person in front of me and they give me an audience, you give me 3 hours, I'm going to capture their mind because I have that key. Here's the thing though. If you're an agent, you are given access to Black people because you're an agent. You got a job to do to undermine Black people. So the government will make sure that you get as much exposure and access to Black people as possible, because that's your job. You never heard of an agent that couldn't get access or didn't have money or resources. That doesn't exist, because that's the very reason that the agent exists. On the contrary, the only reason I'm not having and we're not having more impact is because the doors to access to African people in our minds have been closed to us. So, like for instance, right now at Lincoln University, the Obama administration has made a mandate that every college, and that's the HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, every single Black college and colleges in general that receive government money, which is most of them, must have at least one event per year promoting homosexuality. So right now, we see an event recently at Lincoln University where they're promoting homosexuality to the Black students. And even if the faculty and the administrators don't agree with it, if they're going to receive funding and keep their school alive and viable, they're forced to do it. But at the same time, brothers and sisters like myself, who have a message to tell our children this is a bad policy, it's a bad direction to go for, this is destructive to the African community, we don't have access to the same doors. The money goes to these other individuals who are trying to destroy and dismantle Black culture and Black family. But the people like myself that's fighting to do it don't get access. If I was an agent, if I was working for the devil, then they would make it possible. I would speak at every college and university in this country every weekend. I would not even get a chance to talk to you. I'd be too busy, because they want me, whatever they got me to do, they want me to be able to be effective in doing that. And the only way you can be effective as an agent is to have access. So to that, I'm just saying, I don't really listen to a lot of the stuff people say, because it's not coming from people that think. Once a person sits down and thinks, all you have to do, even though we don't know what the modern COINTELPRO looks like, we don't know until somebody comes out and tells us. What we do know, the basic premise of a traitor is that they're going to encourage us to do negative things. They're going to encourage us to fight one another. And they are going to take information from us and give to the government. The problem with that notion with myself is I'm the one bringing the information. The government don't have the information and the analysis that I bring down. If you look at the information that we provide, if you look at any of these videos, the feminization of the black male parts 1 through 4, the analysis I do of the European and European behavior, they don't have that nowhere. That's my analysis. They cannot give it to me because they don't analyze and study themselves. They study us because they want to kill us. And if you want to kill a group of people, you need to know those people. Well, I study them because they're the ones that's killing us. They don't have no way to tell me how to study them because they don't study themselves. And so if I'm giving you a read and a study and a breakdown intellectually of what we are facing, that doesn't exist. It's coming from me. So how can I be a government agent when what they would be paying me to give, they don't have? What they have is drugs. I ain't giving you no drugs. I'm telling you not to do dope. They got bad psychology and words, so they want you to use the N-word. I don't ever call you the N-word. I tell you not to use that. It kills yourself. They have integration, telling us to out our race. You see it all over. I don't tell you to date outside your race. I tell you the black man be loyal to your black women. Black women be loyal to your black man. They tell you to be a homosexual. I don't tell you to be a homosexual. Everything that the enemy wants to give you, then you know who your traitors are because that's what they're giving you. They're giving you what the devil wants you to have. All you got to do is look at what's happening to our community. And if you want to know who the traitors are, look and see who's advocating on any level the stuff that's killing our community. Nobody can say that anything that we produce is doing anything but helping our community. In fact, I would say, tell me who's giving more information critical to the sustenance and survival of African people than One Horizon. I don't even think it exists.
I want to say too, man, there's so many things like questions or answers you gave, and also things I'm thinking about as I'm listening to you talk. Number one, I believe with the Honorable Brother Dick Gregory that the best black leadership that we have produced, a lot of them have their roots in the HBCUs. I mean, you're a product of Hampton University. You see what I'm saying? You're a product of the HBCU. So many of our great leaders and innovators that were products who either went or taught at HBCUs. So it's funny now that HBCUs are under attack at this moment when we need a strong foundation for our community. A couple other things as well. I think you did a great job articulating what an agent really is, because I believe that we are all informants. You know, if you got a Facebook profile, if you got a Twitter account, if you got an Instagram, you are an informant. It does not make you an agent provocateur. I think that's the thing that it was interesting a couple of years ago when it came out that Ernest Withers was a paid FBI informant. I mean, he was a freelance photographer. He used to be a Memphis police officer. But the thing about it is, if he's a freelance photographer, I mean, an FBI agent can say, okay, I want to buy that picture from you. Who are these people in this picture? He was not an agent provocateur in the sense that he actually helped mastermind or help aid in the mastermind and undermining of the movement. But he was documenting the movement, so it made him a valuable source of information. So I definitely agree with you a lot of your points. I don't consider you in the same realm as a William O'Neill, who set up Fred Hampton, who was an agent provocateur. Fred Hampton's bodyguard, who set him up. I think it's interesting that you raised a lot of interesting points that people really need to address, because like when I first met you back in March in Cynthia McKinney, you didn't hide anything. I remember when the email went out to our group that met with Cynthia McKinney down in Georgia. They said, oh, he works for the Department of Homeland Security. Your name was prominently featured on the website. You wasn't hiding that. Even in some of your lectures, you talk about the reasons why you had to go back to get a government job, because the movement doesn't pay. I mean, Malcolm was broke when he died. He had $6. He didn't have no money in the bank. Dr. King didn't have no money. The movement does not pay. You got to do this for the love of your people if you want to serve the people. You got to love the people inside themselves, because our people have been so conditioned. So I want to thank you for making those points very clear.
Thank you all for listening, being patient. That was something I did back in October of 2013. Tariq brought attention to it. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed. Like I said, I have no problem with the brother. We honored Tariq Nasheed. I actually went to his cousin's wedding I believe his first cousin wedding down in Cozumel, Mexico. I went to his first cousin wedding. He wasn't there, but I went to it. Good Detroit people in the house and all, Alabama folks and all that. So I have no ill will. I see how people want to spin things, and I'm just telling like it is. Like, A.L. Kamathi did not come off as an agent. I thought it was weird that he was saying a lot of stuff he was saying in his off time and still held down a government job working 6 figures, but he lives in the DMV. A lot of folks work for the government in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. It is what it is, but man, it's crazy. Matter of fact, I went to the FBA conference back in 2020 down in Atlanta. It's supposed to be an annual thing, but it only had one in 2 years, right? But I met Tariq's mom, one of his cousins, beautiful sister from Alabama. She lives in Georgia. She remembered me. Said, "Oh man, I remember you was at our so-and-so wedding." And they were happy. Tariq had his mom there. I thanked his mom. I took a picture with his mom and his cousin. And they people got nothing but love for people. But what we got to understand, people going to people. Stop putting the messenger on a pedestal. That goes for me or anybody. Do the work. Do the research. Be your own leader. Create your own code, okay? Because nobody can never articulate what the code is. So how can you stay on something you don't know what it is? You can't articulate it. The Black Panther Party had the 10-point platform, right? So, it is what it is. But D-Ray McKesson, thank you people in the chat. D-Ray, the Blue Vest Ranger. Blue Vest Ranger. Blue Vest Ranger. Yeah, D-Ray McKesson, that's the cat name. But there's a lot of folks that came up. I know one person. There was a product. She was a star of Ferguson, Bridget Pagnett. She's we were part of the same scholarship program, John B. Urban Scholars, out of Washington University in St. Louis. Brittany doing her thing. She doing her thing. She came up at the Ferguson movement, got a chance to meet with Obama and all that stuff. She did her thing. She's doing it. But what about Darren King D. Seals? Now my Wi-Fi is actually acting funny styles down. I'm about to close it out. Wi-Fi acting funny styles. Yeah, Francis Cress, Bruce Kareem. Great point by Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. See, we don't protect our riders, man. We don't protect them. Because Dr. Francis Cress Wilson probably was murdered by the system. Because she had that school, what is it, a Jewish school that was building, and it was in getting close to a property line, and she couldn't have no peace of mind in her home. And all these so-called conscious brothers and stuff, man, we riders. We love Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. We ride or die. We ride or die. Y'all wasn't riding for Dr. Wilson like that. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. Then I think she lost a job at Howard, but she still was renting rooms up in Howard University, trying to teach our people. We backwards as a people. I said, Dr. Bobby Wright. What happened to him? I don't really know what happened. He just died the next year. I saw the lecture he did down in Atlanta. He was talking about the day when people, dudes will be wearing dresses and stuff, people laughing. He was telling us already what was going down. Dr. Amos Wilson, all these folks checked out. We don't ride for our riders, man. That's why I said, if you really about this work, a lot of times the people that you're trying to help, they're going to despise you. Now, I don't hate Tariq at all. Like I said, we honor him. But I'm just saying, the agent thing, I think we got to be more sophisticated about this agent stuff. Yeah, Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, he could have said that in person. He could have said it when she was walking the earth. I mean, it's like Dr. Bill Cosby. Dr. Bill Cosby did a lot for our people. I had a chance to talk to Dr. Cosby in the summer 2021. I talked to him the day after my great uncle passed, who founded and ran the Charleston Chronicle. It was the oldest Black-owned newspaper in the state of South Carolina. He passed. He almost made it to Uncle Frenchie. He was in his mid-90s. He was almost 95 years old. Yeah, he was 95. I thought he'd hold on to 100. Was he 95? Oh, he's 94. I'm sorry, I'm just okay. He was 95 that year, but Dr. Bill Cosby, I spoke to him and I thanked him for standing up for the black men and women and stuff in Cincinnati. When he boycotted Cincinnati, I think it was killing all them black men. The police was back in the early 2000s, late 90s or early 2000s. And Dr. Cosby was surprised. He said, "You remember that?" I said, "Yeah, I remember that, man. That stuck with me to this day." Then, like a couple years after that, you did the pound cake speech and everything. What the hell? It's like people got to be fair and balanced of their assessments of people and their contributions. You got to give Tariq his due. He has done a lot in terms of informing our people about our greatness, in terms of creating opportunities for other people to shine. Like people say with Dr. Umar Johnson, I didn't know about Dr. Umar Johnson until Hidden Colors came out. I mean, like I said, like he put me on some game, and then he reintroduced people to a new generation of truth seekers. You can't take that away from him, regardless of what you may feel about his personality and all that. He has contributed, but nonetheless, people will find ways to use this platform. Oh, he's disrespecting this person, or he disrespecting it. No, I'm trying to encourage some type of independent form of thought among the masses. That's all. You don't have to agree with everything I'm saying right now. I'm just offering my point of view because I have a certain perspective on things. I have a certain experience that I'm not ashamed to allow for people to look at, to judge, to pick apart, because I'm not everybody cup of tea. And tea, everybody don't like tea. I love tea. So that's me. That's for the people to figure out. I'm just trying to, what I do is like what the Black Panther Party used to do from a long time ago. You heighten the contradictions. You try to heighten up, you create cognitive dissonance in order to create something new in terms of how people view things. It's always been about personality. To be honest with you, so our politics is based on personality. It ain't about facts. It's about, can I have a beer with so-and-so? If I was stranded on an abandoned road, would they stop to fix my tire and all this other crap we do? It was, ooh, I think they like me. I think they like me. Ooh, I think they like me. That's how black folks approach politics. That's why they want to pimp us the way they do. They talking about booties to the polls and no voting, no vucking. That's stupid. I ain't been vucking for a minute, so I don't care about no voting. How they gonna, watermelon and turnip greens? If you vote for me, I'll set you free. Our people, man, we gotta mature a little bit. But like with the agent talk is weird. I mean, it's hard to tell, man. Everybody got bills to pay. I don't know what, I don't pocket watch people. I don't know. I just know my struggle. I know my story. I can't speak for anybody else. And if people are able to make a living, so what? I mean, Malcolm X had holes in his shoes, in the bottom of his shoes when he died. He couldn't afford his family. He was homeless. He only lived a week after getting his house firebombed on Valentine's Day of 65. He was only alive for a week. His clothes smelled like smoke for a whole week. He had holes in the bottom of his shoe. We don't love our people like this. I mean, if y'all call it grifting, whatever, so be it. Y'all, look, y'all pay this filthy government taxes to drop bombs on people, women, children, babies at weddings and stuff. I mean, I can't judge another man for doing what they got to do. I mean, Tariq, he look, it's cats, right? A lot of y'all love Farrakhan. Farrakhan's a great man, right? But he can never live down. He won't never be able to live down that he participated in creating the environment that got Malcolm killed. That's part of his legacy. He was trained by Brother Malcolm. That was his jegna. And then he turned his back on Brother Malcolm because he thought that he betrayed the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He thought he disrespected Elijah. He chose a side. He talked about it in the Muslim newspaper Muhammad Speaks that Malcolm helped found. Because Malcolm didn't found it. It was some brothers from so-and-so, brothers this. Anytime somebody try to give Malcolm some credit, y'all become, I ain't saying y'all like all y'all. I'm just saying it's funny how black folks will just want to cut Malcolm down the sides. I mean, this man died in front of his family. Okay, can y'all give him some type of credit? Damn, he got killed in front of his family, man. Had 2 babies on the way. Come on, man. Get the brother some credit, man. But Farrakhan talked about he deserved death in the Muhammad Speaks. And they got that cartoon Malcolm head with devil horns bouncing down the street. So that's a part of his legacy. But I would say this too, be fair. You know, when Malcolm daughter was allegedly trying to kill Farrakhan, remember that back in the mid-90s? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that back in the 90s? She had, I think, a Jewish boyfriend who was an FBI informant, FBI guy. I could be wrong, but I ain't gonna forget this. Let me wait a minute, let me do something right quick. Do something. I'm tired of this. I don't know, my screen all bubbly and crap. Yeah, I'm just tired. I don't know my screen. Maybe like to play with my screen, but anyway, you remember back in the mid-90s, this is before the Million Man March, right? Y'all gotta look this up. Take a look. It's all online. One of Malcolm's daughters, Malcolm Shabazz' mom. You know, that Malcolm Shabazz, Malcolm's grandson, his mom had a boyfriend who was trying to set her up to assassinate Farrakhan, trying to entice her that he was a white Jew. I could be wrong. I think he was a white Jewish guy that was with the feds, who worked with the FBI, or was an FBI provocateur, agent provocateur, whatever. And they caught it allegedly. You know, and Farrakhan, you know, Malcolm widow wasn't feeling Farrakhan. She held Farrakhan responsible in some part for the death of her husband, because he did help create the environment that killed Malcolm. Now, you know who really did Malcolm in, but he played a part in creating an environment. And so what Farrakhan did was very magnanimous, very diplomatic. He met with Betty Shabazz, the widow of Malcolm X, at the Apollo Theater, you know, and he said, look, all is forgiven. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to hold it against your daughter. And she was, you know, manipulated by the enemy, And Betty, to save her daughter, I mean, she may still held Farrakhan responsible, whatever, but to save her daughter, she accepted the truce, right? She said, okay, thank you. Sister Betty, all is forgiven. We're not going to hold this against Malcolm, daughter, because we know how the enemy works. Y'all forgot that? I remember reading about that in The Final Call. I remember, like, it was a McDonald's that was right by our grandma's house. I mean, out eating a quarter pounder combo, whatever, reading that story in The Final Call. Like it was yesterday. So I'm saying, like, even with the minister, he's a human being, man. Give him grace. You know, I believe he for the most part, he tried to do right by our people, man. You know, everybody got their pros and cons. So I mean, like say with Tariq, give him grace. Give Irritated Genie. You know, I don't know all the hell he caught. I mean, he's well traveled. I mean, damn, he you know, you trying to wonder who support this brother. But you gotta understand who I am. I'm one of them dudes, like, I don't know how I get where I need to get. You know, a lot of times, like, by the grace of God, man. You know, you gotta know who my people are. Like, I you know, it's funny, I had this type of connection to Malcolm and Robert, not realizing, or Robert F. Williams, not realizing I had a blood cousin who worked closely with these men. But I just had the affinity. So God is funny like that. That's why we got to know who we are. We got to teach our knowledge of self and understand and understand who we are, because that helps you get confidence to do things in this world when you know who your people are and who you come from. Because my cousin Julian Mayfield, you know, I wish I could have met him, and I am him in a way, because I'm doing the same work in my own way that he did when he was walking the earth in his prime. I just didn't know, you know. So I did this show not to point fingers at anybody, but there's, hey man, the way y'all talk about this agent stuff is BS. It's not how y'all think it is. It's not like it was back in the day. They didn't have no social media back in the day like we at now. There's no need for people to be posing and remember, because you can do all this stuff online now. You do all that online. Yeah, I think Irritated went to a divorce, and he's a man. He got flaws. I mean, I heard people that rock with Irritated, they fell out with him for whatever reason, and that's okay. It happens. We human. Yeah, he was on it. Like I said, you still good. They talking about the Hebrews to Negroes. It supposed to be woke, but I keep on falling asleep trying to watch the Hebrews, the Negroes. So, well, they spell Hebrews, the Negroes, the Hebrews, the Negroes. I can't get through the first 20 minutes, but if you look at an Irritated Genie lecture, I mean, he bragging on himself, but he draws you in. And he's a hell of a researcher. Now, how he present the information, how he interpret the facts, it could be up for debate. But it's a lot of things. It's like how people talk about Dr. Umar Johnson. Man, when the school gonna get built? Okay, yeah, I never donated to the school, but I do know this. What he be talking about, he's on point with his stuff. Dr. Umar, look, he's on point with the message. Now, what y'all decide to believe in all this, y'all don't even hold. Look, we're out for the acres and the mule. Treat Dr. Umar like I treat the Federal Reserve. Y'all don't ask for no audit. Y'all ain't trying to audit the Federal Reserve. So why y'all trying to do that, brother Umar? Y'all not trying to audit the IRS? Yeah, y'all give money and y'all know where it's going to. They give money to Ukraine. Y'all don't say nothing. Y'all don't say a mumbling word, but vote Democrat, because if you don't vote Democrat, you ain't black, Jack. So hit the road, right? But yeah, Tariq, but I mean, he was on it for a long time. Let's see. Yeah, they trying to do the hit job on Dr. King, man. They trying to come out with this stuff in 2027 on Dr. King, but let it be known. Never forget that the gun that killed Dr. King came from the FBI. So you're gonna trust the people about Dr. King's character that the gun could be traced came from? If you already know about the history of J. Edgar Hoover, like I said, J. Edgar Hoover tried to get a hit on Dick Gregory, a mafia hit on Dick Gregory that the white media covered. So y'all gonna trust the enemy when it comes to how we should look at our heroes and sheroes? I mean, Dr. King, when he died, he was 39, but he had the heart of a 60-plus-year-old man. He was so stressed out. He don't tell how long he was gonna live if he wasn't shot on that balcony April 4th, 68, you know. Well, let me close it out. I think I said everything I wanted to say. Thank you, Sister Luna, for your work. I'm just reading through this stuff, man. Somebody text me. See, I'm only one person, man. I just like people texting me. Somebody said Ernest Withers is responsible for setting up my oldest brother, J.W. Reed, who was one of the invaders. Memphis Invaders was like the Black Panther version in Memphis. That was our version of the Black Panthers, the Memphis Invaders. I know a couple of them guys, Dr. Kobe Smith, Minister Yahweh, Sweet Willie Wine, Minister Yahweh, great man. He said Winter was Withers. Withers' cover was to pose as a photographer. His job was to ID and take pictures of the militant groups and monitor their movement. He did monitor King's movement every time he came to Memphis. Withers was a damn pig and does not deserve to be called Baba. Don't call him that. I'm just telling you what. Look, Mr. Yahweh was a Memphis invader, legendary Minister Yahweh, who was known as Sweet Willie Wine. He calls Ernest Withers Baba. And the group he said there was much about, Dr. Kobe Smith. They still speak with Dr. Withers with reverence. And these guys was in the invaders. No matter of fact, Morrell McCullough is that famous picture of Dr. King on the balcony laid out, bleeding out. Dude is bending over him. That's Morrell McCullough. He was a Memphis invader, but he was Memphis Police Department cop. He was military intelligence, and he was the first Black commissioned officer of the CIA. His daughter just did a book about the complex legacy of her father. I called Morrell McCullough. When I came back home from Selma in 2015, I cold called him. I found a number with a South Carolina area code and called it. A woman answered. She got me in touch with Morel McCullough. I asked him, is on my YouTube channel. I said, are you Morel McCullough from Memphis? He said, yes. I said, were you there in Memphis, April 4th, 1968, when Dr. King was murdered? He said, yes. I said, were you working for the CIA then? He said, I don't do no interviews. He said, but are you Morel McCullough? I repeated this stuff. Were you in Memphis? He verified and he hanged up the phone. That's what he did. And so his daughter just wrote a book. She's a freelance writer. She wrote a book about her father. And it should be a hell of a movie. But it's complex, man. Because Morel McCullough will come back, from my understanding, to Memphis over the years and meet with some of the invaders. Like you know, how like after the Civil War ended, you had the Confederate and the Union soldiers, the veterans, they all get together and talk good talk. They all became friends. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? My genuine. My genuine. So, I mean, y'all, it's like, come on, man. I mean, we don't have this much benefit people that actually did us dirty for generations and decades. We don't even want to say their names. I agree. Why should you do right and you should be poor for doing right by the people? You know, why should that be like that? Why should it be like that? Let's allow y'all in the comments. Thank y'all for being active in the comments. Thank you, Sister Luna, for moderating. Let me see something. You know, Dr. King was watched. You know, his family was watched for 3 generations. That's what they admit to, for 3 generations, right? They watched it. The government watched his family. You found this article online. They started with his maternal grandfather. They started watching him. They probably had agents at Morehouse. But Dr. King went there when he was 15, whatever. But Dr. King was watched all his life. His family was terrorized. So y'all talking about how his kids turn out. They still around. One of them, Martin Luther King III, he got a daughter. You know what I'm saying? Think about Malcolm kids. Think about all the terror and trauma. And we say we love our people. We love these people. We think they're heroes, but we don't protect them. We don't protect their families, nothing. We want to criticize their family for acting weird and strange for some change. All the hell they caught over the decades, man. So it is really crazy. Tomorrow is the birthday of Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Adam Clayton Powell Jr. was a giant. He was probably the greatest politician we ever sent to DC. But we don't talk about Adam Clayton Powell Jr. like we should. We don't honor his legacy. The man tried to do a lot for us. He would be the main one. If he was in Congress, he'll try to push for reparations. Because he was the guy that gave the seed money for the National Endowment for the Arts. He did a lot of things. He really was the architect of Lyndon B. Johnson's Great Society program that Lyndon B. Johnson sacrificed by Vietnam. Imagine if he put all that money he put in Vietnam into the Great Society plan. But Adam Clayton Powell Jr. was the minister of Abyssinian Church up in Harlem. The Reverend Calvin Butts just passed away. He was a long-time pastor, right, at Abyssinian Church. We're not against rap. We're not against rappers, but we are against those thugs, right? But Adam Clayton Powell Jr., he loved a good time. He liked dressing well. He liked expensive exotic cars. He liked cigars. He loved his women. He loved women. And he never hid it, though. And he got punished for it because the white powers that be, though he could pass for white, he chose to be black. And they want to make an example out of Adam Clayton Powell Jr. He was honest about taking his women on trips to Europe and all that, but also he was doing the people's business. You know, when Dr. King was in diapers, he was leading boycotts and stuff and strikes in Harlem back in the 30s and stuff. He was already doing all that stuff. Before Dr. King even thought about having a dream, he was already doing it. But we don't remember Adam Clayton Powell Jr. And Dick Gregory was close to Adam Clayton Powell Jr. as well. So, and also I think tomorrow is the birthday of my Judge D. Army Bailey. Judge D. Army Bailey, the co-founder of the National Civil Rights Museum, not that far from where I live. He was a good man. Darren Bailey, you might not know him as a judge, but he was a civil rights icon in his own right. He actually became an activist back in the day when he was going to, I think he was going to Southern University. Then he went to a school up in Massachusetts. He actually brought Malcolm X to speak at his school up in Massachusetts. He wrote a book, his life story called, I guess, The Black Radical. Judge Darren Bailey was so radical that they recalled him from Berkeley City Council back in the day. This is Berkeley, you know what I'm talking about, like with all the Panthers, the Free Love, all that stuff that was going on back in the day. He was too damn radical for Berkeley. They did a recall. So he ended up becoming he was a lawyer, moved back to Memphis, had his own practice, became a judge. But also he was a movie actor. He was the preacher in How Stella Got Her Groove Back. He was the judge in The People versus Larry Flint when Larry Flint was throwing that citrus fruit at his head. That was him ducking it, dodging it. But he was a great man. And I remember I talked to him on the phone one time. He was talking about how when he was writing his life story, his book about, you know, being a black radical, that he requested his name, documents related to his name on the Freedom of Information Act. And he remembered like years ago when he was doing the activist work, the one of the organizers on the campus said, don't be surprised if the government is listening to you. Don't be surprised if people are wiretapping and eavesdropping on your phone conversations. And he thought to himself at the time, who am I? I'm just a poor kid. I'm just a kid, a black kid from South Memphis. Who would give a damn about what I got to think? Come to find out, decades later, there was records of they did record his conversations on the phone while he was a student activist down in Southern University. And it shocked him. But he remember when the guy told him, when they organized, look, they might be listening on the phone to you guys. So this is why I live the life I live. I don't got nothing to hide, you know. People be calling me all over the place. I don't know who these people are. They say, I saw you with so and so place. I said, well, you never came up to me and said hello. But you told me you saw me 7 years ago at so and so place on Edmund Pettis Bridge by the food truck. Okay, that's very specific. Okay. Or you saw me at the gym. You know, there's people that's weird. But what I'm saying is that like the way I talk to people on the phone, online, I don't hide nothing. I just speak my truth and I just tell like I want to tell it. And somebody said, well, we record you saying that. I said, I know y'all was recording me. That's how I defend myself. I knew I was being recorded because guess what? You're being recorded at all times. That's how you got to approach life. But anyway, I think that's it. Thank you all. Thank you all in the chats. Like I said, draw your own conclusions. Been very fun. Yeah, I'm just trying to help our people make choices, hard choices, but remember the mailman theory. Go to the mailbox. Don't follow the mailman on his route. Go to your mailbox, get the message that's meant for you, and be done with it. That's how that works. So thank y'all. This is Darren. I see you in there. Miss Empath, Sister Darren. I see you. You was in there earlier anyway. Oh, man, it's a lot of y'all. Thank you, Brother Tony. We love you madly. Well, you know what's funny about that lady? She died the weekend of the 50th anniversary. She was from Alabama. And she died the weekend of the 50th anniversary of Selma. She was up in a nursing facility, I believe, up in Queens or somewhere in New York City. That's a good question because what you referred to about the sister that stabbed Dr. King in his chest doing his book signing up in New York City a little bit after the Montgomery bus boycott. Dr. King was signing books up at a store in Harlem, I believe. Black woman came and stabbed him, and he talked about in his speech, the mountaintop speech, I believe, the last speech he gave, not that far away at Mason Temple. That had he sneezed, the blade would have hit his heart and he would have bled to death. She actually died at 95 years old. Let me see if I can find. I'm getting out of here. Y'all trying to keep me all night. She actually died back in 2015, the same weekend of the Selma stuff. And that was weird timing. I told Dick Gregory. It kind of caught him out guard. But she sounded like she was an MK Ultra. She was under mind control, Manchurian candidate type. Name Azolo Curry or something like that. Let me make sure I get her name right. Hey, y'all in the chat for DeRay McKesson. Somebody said he ain't looking at the chat. Yeah, a lot of times I don't look. It's Izola Curry. That was the name. Izola Curry. Izola Ware Curry. That's the one who stabbed Dr. King. She died March 7, 2015. She was born June 14th, 1916. That's the woman that stabbed Dr. King. Izola Curry. So there you go. Let's see how she died. King went on a tour to promote his book, Stride Toward Freedom, soon after it was published. During a book signing at Blomstein's department store in Harlem on September 20th, 1958, Curry approached and asked him if he was Martin Luther King Jr. When King replied in the affirmative, Curry stabbed him in the chest with a steel letter opener. Wow. A advertising executive for the Amsterdam News, a prominent black newspaper, grabbed and restrained Curry. A well-meaning bystander reached out to pull the letter opener out of King's chest. But by this time, New York City police officers Al Howard and Philip Romano had arrived upon the scene and acted quickly. They immediately recognized the risk of pulling out the opener and prevented the bystander from acting. Then called Harlem Hospital to coordinate with doctors how to get King safely out the store without risking having the knife be jarred. This included some subterfuge on the part of Officer Howard, announcing to the large assembled crowd that Dr. King will be taken to an ambulance, arriving at the front of the store and going there himself to wait to maintain the ruse. While in actuality, Officer Romano and others carefully carried him, still sitting in his chair, out the back. Careful surgery was required to remove the blade. King wrote in his posthumously published autobiography that he was told that the razor tip of the instrument had been touching my aorta and that my whole chest had to be open to extract it. If you had sneezed during all those hours of waiting, Dr. Maynard said, your aorta would have been punctured and you would have drowned in your own blood. Wow. There you go. Okay, a psychiatrist diagnosed Curry as a paranoid schizophrenic, reporting that Curry had an IQ of 70 and was in a severe state of insanity. On October 20th, she was found incapable of understanding the charge against her and was committed to the Matawan State Hospital for the criminally insane. After 14 years in Matawan, okay, Curry was transferred to the Manhattan Psychiatric Center on Wards Island in Upper Manhattan, and then to a residential care program in Rosedale, Queens. After a fall resulting in a leg injury, Curry was placed in a Jamaica, Queens, New York nursing home where she resided until her death. Curry died of natural causes. Okay, there you go. Actually, she died that weekend of December 50th, which was crazy. I guess okay. All right. So thank you for that, Tony. I appreciate it. Who got the 10 over here? Everybody trying to get money. Y'all trying to keep me on here? Jesus. See what the 10 is say. I appreciate that. I appreciate you could, whatever you want to give, y'all can deal. But I'm about to get out of here. Y'all can cash app your support. Google Pay, PayPal, Venmo. You can cash app $ R2C2H2. You can I'm sorry, it's been a long day. Google Pay, PayPal, and Zelle your support. Email address r2c2h2@gmail.com. That's r2c2h2@gmail.com. You can Venmo your support at r2c2h2. That's at r2c2h2. Apple Cash, phone number 901-299-4355. That's 901-299-4355. Also Patreon, patreon.com/weallbe. And you also could be a member of this channel. Thank you, Brother G Roll Mo, for that shout out and for that donation. Donation. I love my people out of Baltimore. The two donations. Okay, so thank y'all. Also, y'all could check out. I know people like Artemis Art, r2c2h2.com back here, r2c2h2.com. Also, where art of his art. This is my mentors, my Jegnas, excuse me, Dean. This is Dean Glory right here. I thought she was a white woman at first, but she's a proud black woman. And this is Mrs. Dorothy Elliott. They were like my second moms when I was going to college up in Washington University, St. Louis. But you could buy art of his art on shirts at this channel here, at this website. Excuse me. It's been a long day. I guess I won't be doing a show tomorrow. Man, it's funny getting old, man. I'm trying to get young. I'm trying to stay rejuvenated. But it's like, man, you tides, I tides. I tides, y'all. Y'all ain't tides. I'm tides. Okay. Might be doing a special, man. I'm so far behind. I can't, not even a good businessman like I should be. Should be taking advantage of Cyber Monday and Black Friday and all that stuff. I'm not even posting anything. You could buy and wear art of his art at the official Teespring. I don't know. We got our shelf below the description box of this video. But I'll post that. Buy art of his art. I posted that in the chat. So thank y'all, man. Y'all been very patient, loving, beautiful audience. Thank you. Far too kind. Wonderful people, beautiful people, everyday people. Yes, Lord. So with that said, let me read a disclaimer. YouTube be tripping. Ooh, Lord Jesus. Okay. Disclaimer: the views expressed by hosts and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information, and letting the general public be the ultimate judge in deciding on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. Let me get hold out of here. Y'all be good, be kind, be loving. Yeah. Oh yeah. Y'all can send money orders too. Like you could write attention Ronald Hurd II. We All Be Group Incorporated. P.O. Box 752062, Memphis, Tennessee 38175. Once again, that's P.O. Box 752062, Memphis, Tennessee 38175. Brother Ron Hurd, like a herd of cattle, HERD, the We All Be Group Inc. Thank y'all. Yeah, Tariq, I mean, I think he paid for King D. Seal's funeral. And also, I think he paid for the memorial for Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. I went to that one in D.C. And it's not to take away. I don't know. This is not an attack. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just trying to give food for thought out there. It's not an attack at all. I have respect for both of these men. But I just like this agent stuff that people say. Just because we can't agree on a certain viewpoint don't mean I'm an agent. You know, like I said, like A.L. Kamathi never came across to me. I mean, he's unique and interesting. He's different. But like I said, he never hit the fact that he worked for Homeland Security at the time that I met the Department of Homeland Security, right? Never hit that fact. Let's see. He never hit it. Matter of fact, hell, what's this? I got about 6 minutes, right? Let me just do this. Let me, for the record, because I know a lot of people ain't gonna take the time to read something like 3 minutes. Y'all want me to explain for 20 minutes something you can read probably in 3 minutes. But here we go. Go ahead, gonna read it. Get on out of here. put that up there as I read. Read this about Brother A.L. Kamathi. Actually, this is on Wikipedia. Okay, read this. This is short. A.O.H. Kamathi, Sunrise, December 2nd, 1973, is a black nationalist, anti-LGBT activist, and international lecturer. Born in Southeast Greater Community Hospital, he spent his early life in Southeast Washington, D.C., where he became interested in black history and racial politics. He is most known for his opposition to homosexuality and pedophilia in the black world community, and is openly expressed animus towards white supremacy. The title he goes by when lecturing is the Irritated Genie of Southeast. His website has endorsed the murking of whites and black traitors. At one point, it held an enemies list, which included Reverend Al Sharpton, Lil Wayne, Oprah Winfrey, Whoopi Goldberg, Condoleezza Rice, Colin Powell, and Barack Obama. In July 2009, Kamathi began working in government, contracting and immigration customs enforcement, known as ICE, baby, as a small business specialist. On August 21st, 2013, his identity as a black nationalist leader who spoke out vocally against homosexuality in the black community was exposed in an online article from The Wire. Once news of this article spread to mainstream news networks such as CNN, Fox News, Huffington Post, Kamathi was put on paid leave and eventually fired in December 2013. In 2015, Kamathi was elected international spokesman of the newly created movement called the Straight Black Pride Movement. In the same year, he was officially banned from the country of Bermuda, for a lecture he did stating, among other things, that black men should only date and marry black women. Based on his adamant stance against homosexuality, interracial dating, and marriage and sex, the Home Affairs Minister of Bermuda, Michael Fahey, banned A.L. Kamathi from Bermuda for at least 5 years in 2015. Okay, so this work life, let me see, work life. In 1995, Kamathi took a job as a small business specialist for the Department of the Navy. He worked there until 2003 when he quit to write the book War on the Horizon, Black Resistance to the White Sex Assault, which he self-published in 2005, which is available on Amazon since 2005. In 2009, after 6 years doing lectures and acting as a part-time real estate agent, Kamathi returned to the U.S. government Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, baby, in the capacity of assisting small businesses in winning contracts, right? He was eventually fired in December 2013 for his lecture work done under the pseudonym The Irritated Genie of Southeast. The Irritated Genie is the title of a book authored by Jacob Carruthers, and it refers to the spirit of the black people who fought in the Haitian Revolution. Southeast is a takeoff of the region of Washington, D.C., where Kamathi grew up, Southeast. Okay. So kind of repeat itself in these things. Okay. Y'all get the point. Okay. That's on the Wikipedia. So then, and you can also go to his website, and that's the point. So I think that's it, folks. Thank y'all for y'all patience. I thought I'm gonna be done under 2 hours, man. I'm trying to see what y'all saying. Brian Brown, I hear you. Man, that's real talk. Thank you for the donation, bro. Man, you got. I just don't see how you can win a war to know who the enemies are. You can't say the enemy. Everybody, when you fight a war, you should know the rules of engagement. You should know who the enemy is. They should be very well identified. So that means, like, it's like, okay, you remember why they said the war on terror? What's that? How you fight the word? You fight the word. What's the war on terror? How you define terror? Like the war on drugs. So we don't know who they really targeting. That's how you become, the target. If you don't know who you targeting, then you become the target. See, the war on drugs is really a war on black people. It hits different when you say it like that. Or you can say, like, the war on drugs, black folks with collateral damage. Look at Iran Contra, right? Look at Gary Webb. He named names. He lost his job, lost his family, and lost his life. Gary Webb was a white man. He was an award-winning journalist who lost his career, who lost his family, who lost his life for naming the names. Say their names, he named names. If he just say, it's a drug problem, and he probably still be around. If he didn't name certain names or say certain letters of the alphabet, he probably still be around. Who knows? Would have won a MacArthur Genius Grant by now? Maybe. But he stepped on the wrong toe when he named the names. He said their names. He wrote their names. He typed their names. And what became of Gary Webb? We know. We know now. So, God bless Ye. Because he going to free more slaves than Harriet Tubman when it's all said and done. I said this a couple years ago. Ye going to free more slaves than Harriet Tubman ever could dream of. He gonna free more people, but it's by, and people keep on talking about you and your feelings about Ye working with white nationalists and going. All the presidents were white nationalists. What are you talking about? All the presidents were white nationalists. They put their people before your people. We always been the sacrificial lambs and the collateral damage. Y'all this is new. But somebody try to be honest with y'all, like Dave Chappelle said, Trump is an honest liar. Y'all can't. Like, I had talked to a sister yesterday. She talking about how she got better tax breaks under Trump than she does on the Biden. Stuff that she was able to get as tax relief under Trump, you can't get on the Biden. She said he was a businessman. He did business, but it ain't like the way how he talked. I said, look, okay. He crude, he's unrefined, but did he hurt black people? No. But yet you got Biden, y'all justified voting for him, and he's got a track record of hurting black people. It's like y'all mad at Jerry Jones, but Joe Biden's hero and mentor was the governor of Arkansas at the time, Orville Faubus. Matter of fact, Eastland and Stennis and Byrd and Thurman, they cake for Joe Biden. Yeah, he said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Cause you ain't on my slave. You ain't Candyland. This is Candyland, nigga. This is Candyland. Vote for me, and I won't set you free. You vote for me, and I won't set you free. Okay? So y'all gotta stop this weirdo stuff y'all be doing. Y'all trying to, I think they like me, but yet you got nothing to show for it that they like you. It should be about respect at the end of the day. Respect yourself enough to stop falling for this okie doke nonsense. This is why I had to do the show tonight. I'm gonna take a break, but this is just I already know people gonna twist the way they're gonna twist it. I don't care what I say. I don't care how much information I provide, the facts and stuff. People gonna twist what they're gonna twist. Yeah, but a lot of us work for y'all. Some of y'all work for a school system that undermines the greatness of our children. Y'all do it. Y'all sell our people out for a paycheck. I'm in Memphis where black people will sell you out for a cold pork chop sandwich. You got black folks that are in government offices in Memphis making over $10,000 a month, and yet they selling black people out. They look just like us. They come from the same neighborhoods, went to the same schools and churches, and yet they selling their people out. Y'all worry about Irritated Genie? Black folks that look like you, that y'all, some of us call kin, sell us out for less. They sell us out for a cold submarine sandwich. Or half-cooked pieces of bacon. Rubber bacon. They'll sell you out. So, I mean, our priorities are screwed. And like I said, like it's the old saying, all politics are local. Y'all want to get away instead of staying and fighting it out for what is yours. If you stand on what is right, then eventually your time will come, but sacrifices will be made. So with that said, thank you all for being patient. I love you all. You the ones I don't know. You the ones y'all be calling me. Put me on the phone with your friends. Y'all recording me and stuff without my consent, and that's okay. Cause I'm gonna say crazy stuff. I'm gonna say is like I knew they was recording me, Your Honor. I knew they was recording me. That's why I said the crazy stuff I said. See, like Farrakhan, that's the way he stay alive. Like he'll tell you that hot fire, and he'll talk about some mother wheel, the Ezekiel wheel, whatever, with Elijah on the wheel. Yeah, oh my God, Farrakhan, what's wrong? Is he okay? He take his meds. Then he be telling you that hot fire. Then he come out with the mothership stuff, the wheel. The wheel, he talk about that stuff. That's how you gotta throw people off. You gotta be crazy like a fox. That's what Ye be doing. Crazy like a fox. Yeah, they'll say y'all for a cold pork chop sandwich. That's why they killed Dr. King in Memphis. That's another lie. Thank y'all. We love you madly. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, donators. The best is yet to come. Love yourself. Love each other. And keep on producing and pushing. One love.